we can't be shy about speaking on things such as faith and politics. We have to remember, in a free society, the public square belongs to all of us.
I'm not interested in North Florida looking like Orlando or Miami. I love where we live, but I think that good jobs means that people that live in this district can stay in this district.
Fishing and hunting is funding a large part of your conservation projects in Florida, and we want to make sure that those are forever preserved.
And the problem with this industry at this point is that they actually target our youth. You can see it in their marketing strategies, where it's bright colors, fun names.
And that's going to be endlessly litigated.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, are you still playing defense with your money? Now might be the perfect time to go on offense and seize the opportunities presented by the new pro-business environment ushered in by President Trump and his administration. That's exactly what certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and his team at Advantage Retirement Group do for high net worth investors like you. They create strategies designed to help manage taxes, control risks, and boost your financial confidence. It's a forward-thinking approach that can strengthen your foundation so you can enjoy the lifestyle you've worked so hard to achieve. If you're ready to see how Alfie's team can help elevate your plan, call or text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Again, text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Schedule your one-on-one consultation today and discover proactive strategies to help you thrive in an ever-changing world. Again, text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Don't wait. Let Alfie Townsend and the Advantage Retirement Group team guide you toward a stronger, more confident financial future.
I've been dipping snuff for well over 30 years. You know, I could wake up in the morning and have a weird lump in my gums. Guess it's like playing Russian roulette, really. I would love grandchildren. And if by quitting it extends my life some, I would gladly lay it down.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
Today, push harder, push forward, push vigorously.
There are things that I am hiding from people that I'm trying to inspire.
You can do whatever you set your mind to.
I feel like a hypocrite a lot of the times.
Don't give up on yourself ever.
Smoking, I hide it because I'm ashamed of it. I want to get out of the shadow. I want to show people there is light away from the darkness. I am going to quit.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move, when being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays, when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and you know I love the Floor Meisters in Naples. Locally family-owned business, 3 generations of Meisters. Listen, what are you looking for? Carpet, tile, hardwood, a Quartec? Maybe that's what you're looking for. And why don't we talk to TJ Meister right now of the Floor Meisters and find out what's going on with Quartec. What's up, TJ?
Well, we're just keeping up with the demand for Quartec. Just had to order a truck and bring it in from the west coast of the United States to keep up with all the needs and wants of the people of Southwest Florida. Somebody doesn't have it, give me a call. I probably do.
I tell you, I love my Quartec floor. People love it. What is it about it that makes it so awesome?
Well, it's waterproof, kid-proof, pet-proof. So if you got a pool, no problem. If you got a dog, no problem. If you got a husband that spills, no problem.
Floor Meisters, that's who I trust, and you should as well. 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples. 239-596-4964 for the Floor Meisters.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Thank you for waking us all up out here, for all you do. And
thank you for giving us a voice.
For being out there helping keep the constitutional republic.
I want to thank you for
your support for veterans in the military.
Educating us.
Standing up for conservatism.
Giving us the truth.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Oh, hey, look at you. You're looking fantastic. Thanks for joining us today on Florida's Voice. My name is Drew Steele. Big D right there on the other side of the glass. And Nina's around the corner in the breaking newsroom. And you hanging out with us at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook. I thought I'd roll my R's today. It's Roll Your R's Thursday, D. That's what it is. Can you do that? Very nice. Can you curl your tongue? Isn't that one of those things when people can do that? Only like a certain small percentage of the human population can curl their tongue or something like that.
Consider me in that small percent of the population.
Oh, good. All right. I don't know what that does for you as far. I mean, I guess it's maybe if somebody asks about professions, you can say I can curl my tongue. I don't know. That's really. But anyway, wow. What a weird way to start the I apologize. Can we start again? Okay. The music just came in. Oh, hey everybody. It's great to see you here. Coming up, the Farm Bill. Is it signed, sealed, and delivered here in the state of Florida? I think it is. And so we've got some audio of the Agriculture Commissioner and the Senate President. A little busy today, along with the governor making the signature there on the cool little foldable. So that's going to be you like that, D? The cool little foldable. You know, you ever see when
that's going to be the real name for it from now on.
Yeah, I think we're calling it the cool little foldable, and that's on the way. Also, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and I can ask D on the other side of the glass. So is Congressman Randy Fine going to be on the program with us today? Is he scheduled to join us?
Just a few minutes, actually.
All right, good. So I think, is this his first or second visit since being elected? I think it's
second visit.
It's a second, but the first one was sort of
the first time he's joining with official legislation.
Right, and like actually getting in there and doing so. Like I think when we talked to him first, it was like, hey, I haven't done anything yet. Just one in the, and now it's he's doing stuff. So there you go. All right, let's see what else we got going on. We're following the President of the United States across the globe as there's deals after deals after deals that are going on. And where was he? Was he in UAE today? Where was he? I can't keep track. That's right. He was in the UAE with a big visit. He was visiting the troops. We've got some audio on that coming up. And this Middle East trip has been nothing short of spectacular in many people's eyes. And it's a pretty incredible thing what has happened so far as we've described it. You know, we've talked about how I don't know any other president who's been able to necessarily do what he has done when it comes to commerce and peace, both together getting out there. You know what? Remind me, why don't we do this? I know Speaker Gingrich, Newt Gingrich has a brand new book out on Trump's triumph, America's greatest comeback. Hey, D, remind me, let's get him on the program tomorrow. Why don't we do that? Can we do that? Let's
consider this your reminder.
All right. Thanks. All right. So we'll get, maybe we'll get Speaker Gingrich on. I'd love to get his point of view on it, considering that he's talked about the triumph and he's got this new book that's going to be coming out. And I wonder what he thinks about all of this. Especially considering, well, number one, the president was talking about the relationship today and some of what's been going on. D, let's see if we can play some of the video there from UAE.
Don't know. I think my staff is very surprised by it. You and I have been friends for a long time. We've been good friends. And what they don't know about you is that you are considered a truly great warrior. And you've been through the wars. You're a great warrior. A very strong man, a brilliant man, a man of vision like few others, and highly respected. When they know you, there's tremendous respect, and you're so respected in the Middle East. It's really amazing. You know, we've done the tour with two of your very good friends, you know that. And we were talking about you, and I won't tell you everything they said, but I can say it was all good. It was all good. Total admiration and respect for what you've done and who you are.
And I know that the president was also talking a little bit about, do we have some of that audio on here? I think he was talking about some of the deals that are being made. And
1.4 trillion.
There it is.
And all I could say is thank you very much.
Yeah, right. So $1.4 trillion. And UAE is saying that they are going to be spending and part of what together we will be. I mean, all of these things that are happening, I have to believe that even Democrats are like, how do you fight against this? What could you possibly do in this week that he's been in the Middle East? How do you speak against it? Here's a Democrat representative, Jim Himes from Connecticut, who was on let's play this video. He was on, I guess this, what was it, on a stage there with a Politico event recently. I think it was today. House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. And even the Democrat is like...
I'm not in the habit of praising Donald Trump, but I got to tell you, the last week or so in the Middle East, Ukraine, Russia is a different story. Yeah. The last week in the Middle East, I go into the week fearing that the Prime Minister of Israel is hell-bent on going to war with Iran. I go into the week worried that we're going to miss the thread of an opportunity in Syria for the new leadership there. And I got to tell you, I think the president has, in this last week or so, played the Middle East pretty darn well. My guess is that the Prime Minister of Israel is cooling his heels a little bit on planning for Iran. My guess is that he's probably thinking through a better situation than he otherwise might want for Gaza. And look, it appears we're going to give Sharia a chance in Syria.
Listen, all of this, I'm just saying that there's a lot of things that are happening, and people are like... I don't know. It's really hard to fight against a lot of the deals that have been made and the money that is going to be coming into this country and paying down the debt. It's one of the things that the president mentioned, and maybe we'll get into this later. And I think it was Sovereign Wealth. It was talking about that and the concerns about different ways to do things. I know he was having conversations with the Commerce Secretary about this, but pretty much, let's do this. Let's pay down the debt. Let's get that taken care of. And then the other things will come. We could talk about the other stuff. I like that. I like not having debt. I'm that guy. And if you can do it, and you can figure out a way to do it, in other words, tackling those issues, to me, are wins. Straight up. That's a win. When you're tackling debts and deficits and you're saying, all right, we got money coming in, let's go. Let's tackle the debt. And then once we do that, there are a lot of other things that we can discuss. But I wonder what else has been going on there in D.C. I know it's been a little while since we've talked to Congressman Randy Fine, who's joining us right now on Florida's Voice. And I can say that as the last time we had him on the program, we didn't have the opportunity to say that because it was a little early and we weren't sure, if it was all right to say all that, because it's like, hey, I just won. So let's get started. And now he started and some good things are going on. First of all, it's great to see you. How are things?
Well, they're busy. I mean, this is my fourth week that I've been up here, and we're working hard on reconciliation. The focus is making sure President Trump's agendas gets through. He's doing an amazing job around the world, and we need to make sure we're shoring him up here at home. And so it's been busy. I can tell you that. Standing up a congressional office from scratch is a lot of work, but we're working hard to get everybody hired, get the offices open, and make sure we're doing a great job for people. Yeah, I was going to say, as you're stepping in now and you're starting to feel out how everything operates and putting it all together, what you expected, difficult, just kind of, I picture you as the hit the ground running guy. Like, that's my vision of you, is hit the ground running. I'm pretty sure that's been the case. Well, it's because two reasons. Number one, I don't have a lot of patience. And number two, I'm not here to go to cocktail parties. I'm here to put points on the board. And I'm driven by fear. I won't lie. I'm driven by fear of what happens to our country if we continue to borrow $2 trillion a year. I mean, there's a ticking time bomb in America, and it is our budget. But, we're learning. I mean, I spent 8.5 years in the Florida legislature. But political processes work through culture and through rules. And the culture and the rules here are completely different than what I'm used to. And I think to some degree, that's why you get different outcomes. But I'm focused on trying to understand how it works so I can be successful within the system. And we've had some great wins already. I've gotten to be Speaker Pro Tem 3 times in 6 weeks. That's 3 times more than I got to do it in 8.5 years in the legislature. And so, I think things are going fairly well.
Well, that's good to hear. And, you just heard me talking about debt and tackling that. And I wonder if people now have the appetite to do this. It almost feels like in the past, people gave it lip service. The president, Trump 2.0 comes in and it's like, all right, come on, we got to tackle this. It needs to be front and center. And it's important for this country that we recognize what's out there and what needs to be done with regard to debts and deficits. And I wonder if you're feeling that now, that maybe people are starting to say, all right, well, with the right leadership like we have now, that maybe we actually can get something done.
Sure. Not enough, do. I mean, Rome is burning.
Yeah.
And people come into my office and say, can I have 100 million for this or $1 billion for that? I'm like, you understand there's no money. You're basically asking us to borrow money from your grandchildren in order to do these things. And no, there does not seem to be a real appetite to save money. I'll give you a great example.
Mm-hmm.
The state of New York, their budget's $250 billion. In Florida, it's about $120 billion. These are round numbers. So we're about half the size of the state of New York's budget. And we have more people in New York and then in Florida than they do in New York. Yet the New Yorkers are up here asking for handouts from the federal government to subsidize their poorly run state government. And so I think there's too many people who don't understand the severity of the situation that we're in. And part of what I'm going to try to do is say, yeah, you have to worry about losing your election, but you want to know what you have to worry about even more? How your kids are going to judge your service that you spent in Washington. Because elections will come and go, but what your children think of you, that won't. And I think if more politicians start worrying about that, we'll make better decisions. Yeah. But no, I mean, I am disappointed by how many people aren't as concerned about the deficit as I am. Now, I'm grateful that Speaker Johnson and others are, but there's a lot of people who are happy to kick the can down the road forever.
Well, that's why you being there is so important, because it's how you're going to change things there in D.C. is to get new people there in the bloodstream of the federal government, if you will, the ones that will come in and say, no, we have to do this. We have a reality here that we have to address. And by the way, we can. This is not a, get this out of your mind, we can't do this. This is a can-do situation if everybody is on board with it. And obviously that's where, listen, you may be, other people may be worried about the next election, but they really need to worry about the next election if we're going down the road that we've been going down fiscally.
Yeah, no, we've got to cut the budget. I mean, I'll give you a great example. We, as the federal government, pays for more Medicaid for able-bodied adult workers in New York. These are people who could work, choose not to. Adults that don't have kids, then we pay for kids in need who have severe defects and issues that we need to help them with in Florida. And yet no one seems willing to deal with that. People don't want to have work requirements for people that are on Medicaid. I mean, we're spending so much money that we don't have on free giveaways from the government. And we've got to rein those things in. The problem in our government is not what we spend on the military or roads. The problem in the government is how much money we spend taking from one person and giving it to another, or even worse, borrowing it from our grandchildren to give it to someone else today. We've got to be willing to tackle these issues, or our time will come to an end. You cannot borrow trillions of dollars you don't have every year forever. You simply can't do it. But the good news is President Trump is committed to solving the problem.
Yep.
I think Republican leadership is committed to solving the problem. And I know I'm certainly committed to solving the problem.
Well, before we let you go, and I know you're busy, I'd love to talk about the Preventing Anti-Semitic Harassment on Campus Campus Act. Maybe we should talk a little bit about that, let people know what's going on there.
Sure. So I got put on one committee, the Education and Workforce Committee. That's the committee that's been bringing in university presidents to talk about how they let Muslim terrorists run rampant on their campuses. This is a problem we don't have in Florida, and we don't have it for one simple reason. Over my 8 years in the legislature, I passed a bunch of bills that said you can't do it. Well, the other 49 states haven't gotten that message. And so we saw in this hearing that I was a part of that they were letting Jewish kids get beat up and no one was being held accountable for it. So the next day I filed my first bill that would basically be a replica of a bill that we did in Florida that said you're going to treat anti-Semitism on campus the same way you treat racism on campus, because you shouldn't discriminate in how you deal with discrimination. And what we did say is this: if universities don't deal with it, then we're going to shut them down because they can't survive without federal money. And I'm excited. Senator Scott is running the bill in the Senate. I get to run it with him in the House. We did a great job fighting these issues when he was governor of Florida, and I think we'll be a great team fighting on this here in Washington, and I'm honored to do the bill with him.
I like the whole Florida connection. It's kind of cool. I mean, it really is.
Make America Florida. Make America Florida.
I guess
it's true. That's one of my big takeaways. So, if we ran things up here the way we run things in Florida, me leaving, I don't know about the last few weeks since I left the legislature, that might not be a good example, but the way it was the 8.5 years I was there, then Washington would be run much better.
Yeah, we got to get you like maybe a tie that says that or something so everybody can see it emboldened. I'm going to work on that.
All right. I have a lot of Florida ties. I'm just not wearing one today.
There you go. All right. Well, listen, great to see you. All the best. And we will speak soon. Looking forward to follow-ups on this and so much more. Okay.
That sounds good. Anytime.
All right. We'll see you. That is Congressman Randy Fine joining us on Florida's Voice. That would be pretty sweet, D, if he would walk around with Make America Florida a tie through the halls of Congress. I wonder if that exists.
I've seen our CEO, Brendan Leslie, with hats like that.
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised if a congressman could get his hands on a tie like that.
Yeah, but he can't walk. He can't. Right. I was going to say the tie. He can't walk around with a cap on. I mean, I guess he could. I mean, he's, let's talk about rebellious. That is, that guy over there's got a sweatshirt on. Maybe I can have a ball cap on. No, I'm just kidding. You know what I'm talking about when I say the sweatshirt guy. That guy. It's nobody bothered to argue that maybe that's a bad thing. Yeah, whatever. All right, we move on. What else do we have going on here at Florida's Voice? Hit me. Anytime you want to watch the program at FL Voice News, YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook, we always appreciate you watching. By the way, anytime you want to listen, in case you missed the program for some reason, you can go to my personal website, drewsteele.com. That is the website. Steele has 3 E's. And this way, if you miss it for some reason, you can catch up with it tonight, tomorrow morning, take us on the road with you in the morning, and then you can listen fresh in the afternoon. I don't know, just giving you ideas if you would like. I just want to get back to this quickly, just for a half a second. What the President of the United States is doing and how the Democrats are reacting to what he's doing is remarkable, to the point that CNN and Dana Bash and others are trying to figure out a lot of what's coming at them, moving so fast. They were talking about how the Supreme Court is hearing arguments on the birthright citizenship issue. It's a huge case. Zach Smith from the Heritage Foundation, heritage.org, is going to join us in the 5 o'clock hour, and we'll get all the details on it. It's a big, big deal, especially when you get into and dig into some of the details of how people are abusing this quote unquote idea of birthright citizenship, what it is and what it isn't. But even as they're talking about this in front of the courts, even because remember, the case does have a lot to do with, and what a lot of people are talking about is these judges making these decisions instead of the president making this. President's executive orders, a judge comes along and says, no, and another one, and another one, and another one. And next thing you know, it's like, who's running this place? Oh, the judges do? I didn't see that part in the Constitution. Missed that one. Yeah, because it doesn't exist. So having said that, here's some video right now. D, we got the video of Dana Bash and others there on CNN who, I just want to play a little bit of this because they're sort of like, what's the Democrat plan through all of these things that Trump is doing, whether it's peace deals, whether it's deals on trade, whether it's blocking or going to court to defend what many people think is constitutional.
The shell, well, one of the many keys here is the shell game. And Jamie, just on the politics of this isn't haphazard inside the Trump Justice Department, inside the White House. This is the kind of strategy that Trump world spent 4 years when Biden was in the White House mapping out.
Right. You stole my word. It is the strategy. And beyond the confusion and the chaos, I think we also have to take a look at this with the words judicial power. So in so many of these cases, President Trump has used very effectively speed as a weapon.
Ooh, very effectively using speed as a weapon. All of these are coming out. Boom, boom, boom. Like we're doing all of this almost as if to say, hey, we got 2 years to get all of this done because we really don't know what's going to happen in the midterms. Anything can happen. There's a million different ways that Democrats could cheat. I mean, there's a million ways that things could change in the world, and people are making different decisions than they would otherwise make in a normal situation with their brain. But anyway, I digress. The point is everything's moving with this speed, and what do we do about it?
And numbers, 200 executive orders, all of these actions. So if you talk to, legal scholars or political people who are concerned about what he's doing, this is a time they will say, the red light is blinking, 5-alarm fire.
Red light's blinking, 5-alarm fire. In other words, we don't really know what to do right now. Like, everything's going too fast. You got to slow down. Oh, no. We don't slow down. Now, look, a lot of these things are going to have to be codified into law. A lot of these things are going to need to be accomplished and settled by the House and the Senate, and let's get some pen to paper from the president, and let's get things codified into law as opposed to executive order after executive order. But the fact is you've been given the groundwork for the work that needs to be done in looking at all of the executive orders and saying, all right, let's go. Let's get the codifying of this into law through the House. Now, what are they doing? Are they working fast? Are they slow rolling a lot of this stuff out? Yep. Why? I don't know. But still, what the president is doing has been amazing, not just in that a lot of these things we haven't seen before, but also how it's freaking the Democrats out. Like, I'm not. How do we stop this? What do we do about this? I don't know. Somebody said cry a little more. That's not nice. Or do something about it. I know. I don't know why barking would be anything. Oh, there is some Hillary Clinton news that's out there. The View was talking about Hillary Clinton today. The audience went crazy when Hillary Clinton's name popped up. You may be interested to find out why Hillary Clinton's name popped up on The View. Was it today or yesterday? I don't remember, but I have the audio and the video, and I have to play it because some of you, not me, not Dee, I'm not really sure about Nina. No, not Nina in the breaking newsroom. But some of you are delusional. Like you really, no. Nina, you stop. I'm just kidding. You're not delusional. You're with us. But some of you lefties out there are absolutely delusional. And I know, now she's upset. All right, we'll talk about that coming up.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA. It is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families. And one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and I have to tell you, when my wife and I talked about getting new kitchen countertops for our house, we know who to call. Rock Solid Countertops and More, 2240 JNC Boulevard in Naples. and they have been absolutely amazing. Hugo and the team are the best. The workmanship has been absolutely incredible. The install was so easy. The process was perfect. Taking everything out, bringing the new stuff in. The quartz countertop is unbelievably beautiful, and my wife is super happy, I'll tell you. You know they have the best quality and selection of marble, quartz, granite, and a one-stop shop for all of your kitchen, outdoor, and bathroom needs. I've known it for years. I've lived in Southwest Florida 40 years. There was really only one place I was going to go. It's rock-solid countertops and more. I would suggest you give them a call, 596-7676. They're at 2240 JNC Boulevard in Naples. Find out what they can do for you. Countertops, cabinets, plantation shutters, they do it all. Rock solid countertops and more.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
Hey, you got this. Just breathe. Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Since the dawn of time, man and wildlife have shared a connection, and hunting traditions passed down from generation to generation have connected man to the natural world, from bow and arrow to hook and bullet. As man evolved, our link to those traditions remain with them forever. Yet today, our basic instinct to provide and as part of the hunt to conserve and appreciate the natural world has fallen under attack for the first time in human history. The misguided politicians and radical activists pushing an agenda to end hunting as we know it, or leading a war against our heritage and their misguided policies and protests. They demonize hunters and belittle our way of life, the results of hunters leaving the sport in droves, while our wildlife and ecosystems suffer the consequences as conservation funding dries up. Named after the father of the North American model for wildlife conservation, the International Order of T. Roosevelt is fighting in the arena to protect and expand the rights of hunters everywhere. We will fight back against these forces to make sure that every American has a right to hunt, enshrined in their state constitutions. We will educate the next generation in our traditions and seek to expand accessibility so that everyone can enjoy our pastimes. And we will continue to hold true to our namesake's efforts to protect, preserve, and ensure open access to our nation's wildlands. Teddy Roosevelt's vision for American conservation defines our modern hunting and conservation system, a system upheld by the idea that conservation efforts are crucial to our hunting way of life, and that hunters are crucial to successful conservation.
To some, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much, but that's not true. They're testing out vowels and consonants and trying different sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on meaning, especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, are you still playing defense with your money? It's time to shift gears and seize the fresh opportunities this new pro-business environment has to offer. That's exactly what certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and the team at Advantage Retirement Group do for high net worth investors like you, helping you go on the offense with advanced tax strategies, thoughtful risk management, and forward-thinking financial planning. Imagine enjoying the retirement lifestyle you've worked so hard to achieve, all while staying one step ahead, and in a changing world, you've got got to do it. Alfie and his team design personalized strategies to strengthen your financial foundation so you can focus on living life on your terms. Ready to find out more? Text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Again, you can call or text 239-747-7470. Schedule your one-on-one consultation today and see how a proactive approach can help you thrive no matter what the market does next. Don't wait. Call or text VISIT to 239-747-7470 right now.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Anytime you want to watch at FL Voice News, YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook, anytime you would like to call, 866-588-8303. That's the phone number, 866-588-8303. How do I know? Because it's right there on the screen. Otherwise, well, I would know anyway. All right, let's find out what's going on in the Florida's Voice newsroom. We call this Top of the News.
Top of the News, Florida's headlines.
Now. All right, who is it? Anita Padilla today in the Florida's Voice? It is. Look at you in the Florida's Voice newsroom. Let's find out what's going on, what they're working on. What's up?
Hey, Drew. Topping the news at this hour, it's official. The Florida Farm Bill is now law. Governor DeSantis signed the legislation, which means new protections for farmers, ranchers, and everyone who gets their water from a city water filtration system. Plus, it requires honesty in food labeling. This is Senate Bill 700, sponsored by Senator Keith Truenow. Representatives Kaylee Tuck and Danny Alvarez also got involved with this, too, but it was all spearheaded by Agriculture Commissioner Wilton Simpson. This bill has protections also from discrimination for farmers who can be denied loans over those globalist ESG scores. Now, this is a big deal for the state. You know, Florida is known for its beaches and attractions, but there are 45,000 farms here and more than 10 million acres of farmland. This state provides over half of the nation's fresh tomatoes, not to mention 40% of all bell peppers, 42% of the nation's grapefruit, and a third of all of the oranges. Well, lawmakers in the House and the Senate are being told not to expect to return to Tallahassee until after Memorial Day to work on that state budget. Now, as you've been hearing us tell you, there is no state budget deal, at least. There was at first, and then there wasn't after it all blew up. But both Senate President Ben Alberton and Speaker of the House Danny Perez, they notified lawmakers today in separate memos that they don't have to worry about being in the state capitol until after Memorial Day, which is May 26th. Alberton's memo says he does feel like they're making progress, but at this time, they're not in a position to begin budget conferences yet. Well, speaking of attractions, Wallet Hub just named Orlando the nation's top affordable city for summer travel.
Yeah.
The city earned top marks for affordability, accessibility, and attractions for all ages. Nonstop flights to Orlando start around $322, according to Wallet Hub. They also said that hotel rooms can be found for as low as $42 a night. Wallet Hub's analyst Chip Lupo says more travelers are looking for fun getaways without the high costs, and it is Orlando that delivers. By the way, there were other Florida cities in the top 100, including Miami, Tampa, Jacksonville, Pensacola, and Sarasota. All right, that's it for now. Be sure to tune in at 4:35. I'll come back to tell you about a law that was just struck down by a Florida Court of Appeals, and this has to do with abortions involving minors and informing their parents. I'm Anita Padilla, the news director here for Florida's Voice. Drew, back over to you.
All right, Anita Padilla in the Florida's Voice newsroom. We always appreciate you working hard there with everybody else. And by the way, anytime you want to check out the stories that they're working on, you can go to flvoicenews.com. That is Florida's Voice, the website. And here you do it with me, Dave. The website. And I'm sorry, I don't know why I did that. And you can check out the stories that they're working on. Just want to get back to this. The fact that Orlando ranks the #1 summer travel spot in the cold country for 2025, 99 other major metro areas, summer travel spot as a mix of affordability, accessibility, and activities for all ages. Now, I guess when it comes to the affordability part, it's like, where exactly are you going? I mean, if you're visiting the state of Florida and you just happen upon Orlando, now let me just say this: the 30,000-foot view is. There are some things that you could do in Orlando that are the usuals that could get a little pricey. But there's a lot to do in the city. There's a ton to do in the city. And I think that's an important aspect to this, because it's not just, as there were other cities in the state of Florida, as there should be, that are top spots to visit for the summer. But never assume that every city is all about the things that you constantly hear about. When you think Orlando, you think theme parks. Okay, that ain't it, as the kids like to say. I don't know, the kids, that ain't it. It's probably a bad thing for us to be teaching the kids, D. Maybe we shouldn't say ain't.
Yeah, if they say it, it is what it is, but let's not teach it to them.
Okay, let's see. That doesn't bode well for you if you don't have lots of money to spend. Does that sound better?
Perfect. Put it in the school system.
No, yeah. Good luck with that. Anyway, so I'm just saying a major city, a beautiful city like Orlando, has a lot to offer. And so when it says affordability, I'm assuming that, that's what it's about, because there's other things to do. Does it actually say? I'm just looking in the article. I know it's about the flights and everything else and some of the hotel. I mean, they got a gajillion hotels there. But, right, the water parks, boat. I'm just bringing this up and then we're moving on, okay? Water parks, boat tours, ice cream shops, coffee shops, shopping centers, spas, and all kinds of things that you can go to. Now, if you're thinking, we need to bring the family to Orlando so we can go to that cool coffee shop, okay. I mean, if that's your thing, maybe, I don't know. Do you think there are families that will take family escapes to other places besides where they live so they could sample the latest mocha?
That seems a little silly.
I'm just trying to figure it out. That's what it says in the article. All right, let's see what else we got going on here at Florida's Voice. Hit me. All right, so I mentioned this a little earlier. Let me see if I can find this. And of course, when I need it, I don't have it. There it is. All right. So The View is ridiculous. Did I say that? Wait, let me start again. The View is ridiculous. It still comes out of my mouth. I can't make it stop. The program that I watch so you don't have to. It's got Sonny Austin, and it's got Whoopi and a couple of other, and somebody named Joy who's not full of joy. And they were talking about, I guess, Trump, because that's all they ever talk about. Otherwise, they'd have no ratings. And how bad he is, terrible, horrible, fill in the blank. And the future and what we're going to do. And I guess the topic of what happened the last go around came up. The topic of, well, why did he win in 2016? I mean, what happened? They had the perfect person. And then what about even this time? There's some similarities here. D, let's go to the video as we play the ladies of The View trying to figure out there's a common thread between what happened in 2016 and 2024. You think you know what it is? Let's see.
We lost twice when women ran.
Yeah.
I mean,
is there no distinction?
Well, there it is. I guess the secret's out now. I thought it was going to be later on in the audio clip, but no, it comes right out, right out of the gate. There's Joy.
We lost twice when women ran.
Okay, so we lost twice when women ran. Okay, were they good at what they do, and were they people that you would like to have as president of the United States?
Just gonna keep digging this hole deeper and deeper.
No. Everything is fine. Let it go. Let it go.
Yeah.
I mean,
is there no distinguishing factors to each woman and why they might have lost?
Well, there you go. Hey, there's one sensible. Okay, so let's just see if the one person who's going to have a sensible comment about this, like, is there a reason that they lost? I mean, the quality of what it is that they were presenting as far as the position to the American people. Now, that's not going to stand. I mean, waiting to see what comes next.
Is there no nuance?
Hillary Clinton was one of the most qualified candidate in presidential.
I'm sorry. What?
Or as I call her, crooked Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, that was that part of it. And the crowd goes wild. Like, Hillary was awesome.
She carried a lot of but she was polarizing.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm sorry. Because she was a failed game show host.
Yeah.
When? So Joy Behar's vision of Donald Trump, I'm not talking about when she loved him and everything and he came on the program and they all hugged and kissed. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about somewhere along the line when she got a little cray-cray, as the kids like to say, when it comes to Trump and mentioning his name. D, was he a game show host? Am I missing something? Was there a Donald Trump?
I think she's referring to The Apprentice.
Yeah, but that's not a game show. That's not like a...
Maybe her knowledge is not up to speed.
On the vernacular of what is and isn't a game show?
On anything.
Well, you've got that part right. So, all right, the game show hosting, yeah.
Yes. I loved her. I voted for her. But the number one thing I heard from people that didn't like her was there was this mystery around the Clinton baggage they took. I just don't trust her.
The Clinton baggage, I mean...
You could put half of Trump supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables.
Yeah, but that's not really baggage. I mean, what else could she have possibly said that...
What do you think of Cory Booker's, and you didn't comment on him, and you feel free
Oh, I adore him.
What do you think about him saying kicked him in the shins, essentially? Start to get to that kind of political...
Well, that was Eric Holder.
Yeah, Eric Holder,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know they all look alike.
No, they don't. Oh, well done.
Well, every once in a while there was an awkward Hillary moment in her life. Awkwardly awkward. But it couldn't have been anything like that. No, she was fully qualified, there's no doubt. And, of course, there was the Benghazi thing. And what point? What difference does it make? Okay, anyway.
They weaponized her husband against Hillary Clinton. And
They did all those things.
This country is a mistake.
They weaponized her husband against Hillary Clinton. I'm just trying to follow the logic.
Misogynistic country, and this country is a country that, out of all of the first world countries, hasn't been able to elect a female president. That's just factual.
There it is, everybody. All right. So the reason why Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris could not be president of the United States was because they were women, and that's all it is. It's got nothing to do with anything else.
Are you supportive of these onesies?
I don't know why. Oh, well, there's the Bernie factor too. You know, I'm just laughing about. I don't know where the onesie thing came in, but I think it's funny, the Bernie factor, which was everybody wanted Bernie Sanders in the Democrat Party in 2016, and here comes Hillary, like rushing through, pushing everybody out of the way with her arms. It's like, never mind. Everybody stand back. I'm here. Everything is fine. Well, we don't want you. No. You got to have me. Yeah, but we don't want you. And then obviously all the things that were going on in 2016 to make sure she was the nominee. You remember all of that and some of the shenanigans that were going on behind the scenes to make all of that happen. I'm not looking at Debbie Wasserman Schultz at all.
I have the skin of an alligator.
Yeah, I'm looking a little bit at her because there was that whole, her and a few other people that were like, yeah, well, don't worry about it. We'll make sure that everything works in your favor. So there you go. Sonny Hostin didn't like the fact that somebody on the program was suggesting that maybe there were other reasons that didn't have to do with her gender as to why Hillary Clinton was not the person. But no, there was only one reason why she wasn't elected. All right, whatevs. Let's move on from that to some of the other news and stories that are out there. Yeah, we certainly are going to get to the Farm Bill. And I mean, we could play a little bit of the audio right now. The Farm Bill signed today. The governor getting together with a whole lot of folks, as a matter of fact, as the Florida Farm Bill became law. Protections for farmers, banning fluoride. I know. There's no way we're going to be able to get fluoride for our kids. And what about their teeth? I don't know, Walgreens? States drinking water isn't going to have it there any longer. And, of course, the reminder, as we've talked about here on this program, the fact that there's a lot of people on well water, and they don't have fluoride in their water. So requiring honesty in food labeling, a lot of things that were happening. And I want to see, just before we go to break, and maybe I'll just play this small little clip of Senate President Albritton. And, Dee, let's just go to this video and some of what he said upon the signing of this.
That's fantastic. I want to point something out to the people in this room. Yeah, that's true. I want to point something out to the people in this room and anybody that can see us out there through the cameras. The Great Seal of Florida has in God we trust. That's important, right? God is praiseworthy. I'm thankful to God for everybody in this room. When I look around here, I'm myself, I'm a fourth generation citrus grower, and I look around this room and what I see a lot of folks here that are multi-generation farmers. It is part of the DNA of Florida. The governor mentioned that earlier, but it is absolutely part of the DNA of Florida. It is, quite frankly, I think the best part of Florida. Whether it was 1 acre or 10 million acres, Florida farmers bring a value that nobody else can bring.
Just a little bit of Senate President Albritton today upon the signing of the Farm Bill. We'll play some more audio coming up, show you some of what the governor did after signing it with the signature folder that he had and some of what he did with the pens and stuff. It was pretty cool. All right, we'll have that coming up just a bit.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow, you sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I like a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council. Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
when the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, if you're looking to take advantage of today's pro-business environment and strengthen your financial future, certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and his team at Advantage Retirement Group have got you covered. They specialize in advanced tax strategies, risk management, and retirement planning, all aimed at helping high net worth investors like you thrive. Now, Alfie wants to share those insights with you with his book, Keeping You on the Retirement Fairway. It's packed with practical tips and forward-thinking strategies to help you make the most out of your hard-earned wealth. Ready to get your free copy? Text BOOK to 239-747-7470. That's 239-747-7470. Don't wait. Learn how to capitalize on that pro-business opportunities that are out there right now and secure the confident retirement you deserve. Once again, text BOOK to 239-747-7470 right now, and let Alfie Townsend and Advantage Retirement Group help guide you toward a stronger, more confident financial future.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move, when being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays, when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
The streaming service Max is now changing its name back to HBO Max. People were like, well, as long as my parents keep paying for it, you can call it whatever you want.
I guess there's a little bit of truth to that. You know, every once in a while, you got those subscriptions, and as long as my parents are paying for it, I didn't even know. So, do you watch that? HBO Max or HBO? Do you watch any of that?
I don't have anything on it that I watch, no.
No. Is there a specific one, like a Netflix or something that you like? Any of those?
Yeah, a lot of Netflix, a little bit of YouTube, TV.
Yeah.
I don't watch much live TV. Everything I watch is just streamed now.
Yeah. I'm just wondering how, when it comes to the name changes, I mean, why they did it. And, you know, HBO was always, you know, the one that everybody knew. And then it was HBO Max, and then they just went to Max, and now they're as if. Have you ever gone back to something that you were watching or consuming before because the name changed?
Absolutely not.
I can't think of one time. Not one single time can I think of that. And I'm wondering if Max or HBO or anything, do they carry a lot of the, before we go, do they carry a lot of the music, concerts and stuff? Wasn't it Max that carried, they were like the big rock concerts and stuff? I mean, typically that's where you would get that.
I'm not a big HBO guy.
Yeah, I don't know either. I thought back in the day, they always had like live in concert, Bruce Springsteen, you know? And now you go to a Bruce Springsteen concert, and what do you hear? I'm not kidding.
That won't bow down to their ideological demands. They're removing residents off American streets, and without due process of law, are deporting them to foreign detention centers and prisons.
Born in the USA, when are you gonna play that? When are you gonna sing? Yeah, so there's Bruce Springsteen. No, I'm not kidding. It's right there on your screen. There's recently a Bruce Springsteen concert where everybody's, well, I mean, some people were pretty stoked in the front row if you're watching the video about what he's talking about, but it's awesome when you go to a Bruce Springsteen concert and instead you're getting like political indoctrination. You're hearing, it's like, this country stinks. Then why did you write Born in the USA? Born in the USA, D, was it? I don't think the song, it wasn't like a ode to the United States. Isn't Born in the USA, wasn't that was it a protest type of? Why do I think that Born in the USA wasn't like, it's awesome. It was more like a protest, or maybe I'm thinking of a different song.
I'm unsure. I could look up the history of the song.
Yeah, look up the history of the song, because I would hate to say that about such a great song and then find out that I was wrong and then be putting that out there and then having you push the button and be like, yeah.
Drew Steele, fact check.
Because if I'm wrong about something, he pushes the button and I get fact checked. And I don't have a problem with that, because unlike other hosts in the United States of America, if I'm wrong, I tell you. And I don't have a problem saying it. It's okay. You do it then. I'm not saying I get that upset, but yeah, so there's Bruce Springsteen, who's just, I'm so glad you came here tonight. This country stinks, doesn't it? Yeah, we've only been here 5 minutes. I got to go. Okay, you going to sing any songs, or what do you do now? So, all right. Here's Big D. Born in the USA is a song by Bruce Springsteen that, despite its catchy chorus and patriotic title, actually critiques the struggles of Vietnam War veterans returning home. That's what it was. Okay. The song was released in '84, inspired by his experience with veterans and the broader issue of the Vietnam War and its aftermath. Okay, there you go. I thought it was something. I knew it was like political, like it. Yeah. So, all right. Just double checking. All right. Let's see. Let's take a break right now because I hear the music. And when we come back, we'll have more from the state of Florida and the signing of the Farm Bill today. And some of what that was said today. Very interesting. The governor and the agriculture commissioner. Plus, we've got some other things going on, including the SCOTUS fight on birthright citizenship. This is a big deal, everybody.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
It's 4 a.m., Monday, and you're literally sucking baby snot through a tube because she's congested. Man, that's love. And if you love her that much, love her enough to make sure she's buckled in the right car seat. To make sure your child's in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the-right seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the-right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
No way.
No way. No way. No way. My kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele. Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Congratulations on your show.
Congratulations on your new show. Big deal, huh?
That's why shows like yours are so important. We have an independent county elected sheriff that's the head of law enforcement in Jacksonville/Duval County. And I know how to work toward making this city safe.
We can't be shy about speaking on things such as faith and politics. We have to remember, in a free society, the public square belongs to all of us.
I'm not interested in North Florida looking like Orlando or Miami. I love where we live, but I think that good jobs means that people that live in this district can stay in this district.
Fishing and hunting is funding a large part of your conservation projects in Florida, and we want to make sure that those are forever preserved.
And the problem with this industry at this point is that they actually target our youth. You can see it in their marketing strategies where it's bright colors, fun names.
And that's going to be endlessly litigated.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, are you still playing defense with your money? Now might be the perfect time to go on offense and seize the opportunities presented by the new pro-business environment ushered in by President Trump and his administration. That's exactly what certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and his team at Advantage Retirement Group do for high net worth investors like you. They create strategies designed to help manage taxes, control risks, and boost your financial confidence. It's a forward-thinking approach that can strengthen your foundation so you can enjoy the lifestyle you've worked so hard to achieve. If you're ready to see how Alfie's team can help elevate your plan, call or text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Again, text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Schedule your one-on-one consultation today and discover proactive strategies to help you thrive in an ever-changing world. Again, text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Don't wait. Let Alfie Townsend and the Advantage Retirement Group team guide you toward a stronger, more confident financial future.
I've been dipping snuff for well over 30 years. You know, I could wake up in the morning and have a weird lump in my gums. Guess it's like playing Russian roulette, really. I would love grandchildren. And if by quitting it extends my life some, I would gladly lay it down.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
Today, push harder, push forward, push vigorously.
There are things that I am hiding from people that I'm trying to inspire.
You can do whatever you set your mind to.
I feel like a hypocrite a lot of the times.
Don't give up on yourself ever.
Smoking, I hide it because I'm ashamed of it. I want to get out of the shadow. I want to show people there is light away from the darkness. I am going to quit.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move, when being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays, when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and you know I love the Floor Meisters in Naples. Locally family-owned business, 3 generations of Meisters. Listen, what are you looking for? Carpet, tile, hardwood, a Core-Tech? Maybe that's what you're looking for. And why don't we talk to TJ Meister right now of the Floor Meisters and find out what's going on with Cortec. What's up, TJ?
Well, we're just keeping up with the demand for Cortec. Just had to order a truck and bring it in from the west coast of the United States to keep up with all the needs and wants of the people of Southwest Florida. Somebody doesn't have it, give me a call. I probably do.
I tell you, I love my Cortec floor. People love it. What is it about it that makes it so awesome?
Well, it's waterproof, kid-proof, pet-proof. So if you got a pool, no problem. If you got a dog, no problem. If you got a husband that spills, no problem.
Floor Meisters, that's who I trust, and you should as well. 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples. 239-596-4964 for the Floor Meisters.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Thank you for waking us all up out here, for all you do.
Thank you for giving us a voice.
For being out there helping to keep the constitutional republic. I want to thank you for
your support for veterans in the military.
Educating us.
Standing up for conservatism.
Giving us the truth.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Oh, hey, good to see you. I didn't see you standing there. Thanks for joining us today on Florida's Voice. My name is Drew Steele. Big D's on the other side of the glass. Nina's in the breaking newsroom. And you hanging out with us at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook. And coming up, the President of the United States was talking about the fact that he shook more hands than any human being is capable of doing. That's right. He actually said that, and a couple of other things we'll get to, and some other things that are going on in D.C., including this, I guess, Politico event that was like fire. And I'm not talking like it was really cool and awesome. It was like lefties getting together talking about lefty stuff, but every once in a while they would have somebody on who wasn't a lefty who would call him out, Seb Gorka. Yeah, Sebastian Gorka was calling out Politico to their face, and it was extraordinary. And I'm going to play some of that audio from the event, kind of fun. But we had our own extraordinary event just a little while ago today, as the Florida Farm Bill became law, and it was bringing all kinds of protections for farmers and banning fluoride in the state's drinking water and requiring honesty in food labeling. Obviously, the fluoride in the drinking water was a big one. We knew that was coming, but the bill going further and the ESG lending discrimination is crazy. That was happening, protecting farmers from ESG. And, you know, there are some things where you think it's gone away, environmental, social, and governance, and those ESG lending requirements that some people had, maybe some even still have. You remember like hey, I'm not sure I really want to lend you money because your farm's got a lot of tractors and all those tractors running on diesel, and that's a lot of pollutants that are going into the atmosphere, and we don't like pollutants. So I'm not really sure we can get you a loan for the next tractor. You're kind of tractored out, you know, like that kind of thing. Yeah, so we're not doing that here in the state. And so if you can see the governor was, if you're watching at FL Voice News, YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook, you can see the governor who is signing this right now. And then you have obviously a little bit of the audio in the background. You can see as they're getting it done and gathering around, people asking questions of the governor. He's just doing the signing. He's got his pens, right? And I guess he was ready to say something as he's finishing up the signatures on the Farm Bill. Who wants a pen? So he's giving the kids the pens, right? And then he says, any kids in the audience? So, yeah, I just thought, oh, wow, he did this. Dee, do you see? Did you know that he was getting ready to do this? If you're watching at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook, you're seeing this. If you're on radio across great affiliates here in the state of Florida, I'll kind of give you a little summary of what's going on. So you see the governor, right, D? He's looking around, and he's saying, any of the kids, anybody out there want a pen from the signing? So, anyone want to bring something home for their kids? Okay. So he found somebody. Now, I will say this about the governor. Here he goes, and he tosses the pen. Boom. Beautiful catch. Right into the kid. Now, typically, D, I want you to comment on this for a half a second. Typically, if somebody says, hey, I want to throw a pen into the crowd, do you have like a first reaction to a...
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Right. And it's not like, no, I don't have a reaction. It's like, no, don't do it. Right? Please don't throw a pen at people from where you are to across a room. That might not end well. But then, obviously, the person caught it. But we are talking about the governor. Didn't the governor play baseball? I mean, if there's anyone that I can trust, that if he was going to toss it someplace, it was going to end up where it was being tossed, I trust the governor. So, yeah. So there's that part of it. And then a little bit else. Let's see what else was going on here. Handing out the pens. Was there one other moment where he said something? Nope, still handing out the pens. One more. All right. And there it is, the foldable, as he shows off the signature there of the farm bill that is now a done deal. It is law here in the state. And what does it mean? Let's listen to a little bit. Let me get this up here. Just a little bit of the Agriculture Commissioner, Wilton Simpson, talking about this a little earlier today.
And so anyways, we've banned that this year in the farm bill. We're very proud of that. All medications, water should hydrate, not medicate. We've been very clear on that. The ESG lending practices, the governor was one of the first to fight against that in this state. In the legislature, when I served in there, we did many bills fighting these efforts. But we've discovered that in agriculture, they're still in our lending standards. So this year, we are banning it from agriculture. We do not want to buy into the 2035 rules, the 2050 rules, because what their goal is really just to put us out of business. And so no small farmer could comply with these types of discrimination. So in this bill, it offers a lot of opportunities for us to not only sue but fine these organizations if they choose to use ESG lending practices.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that is a huge deal. I can't believe that they were still doing it, but of course, they want to put farmers out of business. You know, some of these banks, some of these lenders would love to not have, well, let's just put it this way. If the intent is not to put farmers out of business, they're doing so by what they are practicing, which is what I described before. Yeah, you got too many tractors there. Too much pollutants in the atmosphere. You can't have another one. Yeah, but I need another one. Otherwise, I can't survive. You got to find something else. Hey, they got electric ones. How about those? Or something to that effect. Anyway. Also, preventing drone operators from harassing farmers and requires honest labeling on plant-based foods, pretending to be meat and dairy. So that's going to be interesting how we do that in the state. So, I can't wait till the next time we have him on. I just want to double check on that. We should probably just call him real fast and maybe get him on the line and see if we can get a hold of the Agriculture Commissioner, because I'm just curious. So when we want honest labeling on plant-based products, like, that's not milk. Oats don't make you can't milk an oat, or almonds. You can't milk an almond. Yeah, but it's not really milk. It's a I don't know what you would. So how would they label it? Almond juice? I don't know. What other way can they label it if they don't call it almond milk? I'm so used to that. D, what else would they call it? Almond beverage product? Is that what it is? Maybe that's what it is. Almond product? Maybe almond flavored beverage or almond beverage. If they use the word beverage, that works. It's like when those cheeses aren't really cheese, they're American processed cheese food. And you're like, oh, I know what that means. That means if this thing goes in the microwave and I accidentally get it on my arm, oh man, that's going to hurt. That's going to leave a mark. There are very few things in life where you would go to eat it, and at the same time, it would leave a mark if you're not careful. Anyway, so that's what took place today, and the celebration of the signage of the Farm Bill that was taking place. All right, let's pivot a little bit. Let's find out what else is going on here at Florida's Voice. A little while from now, Zach Smith from the Heritage Foundation, heritage.org, is going to join us, and we're going to get into detail on what is going on with this birthright citizenship issue that is happening right now. They're weighing whether judges have the authority to issue nationwide or universal injunctions, effectively blocking an order from, in this case, the President of the United States, from being carried out. You know, the kind of thing that everybody's like, how do you square this circle, or how do you get the ring around that bottle at the fair? I never understand how especially when it's on a rope. How does that work? Like that kind of thing. Yeah, I don't understand how that works. It's not in the Constitution. Oh, yes, it is. It's right there in the 14th Amendment to the Constitution. Wait, are we sure that's in there? And that's what we're talking about? People who have come to the country illegally and then having children in this country, and then all of a sudden there's a birthright citizenship according to the 14th Amendment? Is that? Maybe we need to visit that, and we will with Zach Smith. So it's a huge case, and not just the merits of the case and this specific one, but also the overall birthright citizenship issue, because whatever the finding is here ultimately could set precedent. Let me play a little bit of what the... who is this? This is D. John Sauer. He's the lawyer for the government here. And let me see if I can play this audio. D, we got this on video. Here, check this out.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Justice. The original meaning of the Citizenship Clause extended citizenship to the children of former slaves, not to people who are unlawfully or temporarily present in the United States.
Now, that's just 13 minutes into... 13... Boy, those minutes go fast. That's 13 seconds into the U.S. Solicitor General, his closing argument for the government for Trump's side, and that kind of spells it out. Hey, can I play that 13 seconds again?
Thank you, Mr. Chief Justice. The original meaning of the Citizenship Clause extended citizenship to the children of former slaves, not to people who are unlawfully or temporarily present in the United States. The merits arguments we are presenting to the lower courts are compelling. We cite, for example, a host of 19th century authorities that point out that domicile was the touchstone of non-citizens being treated as, having their offspring treated as citizens.
Yeah, he goes on for another 2 minutes and talks about
that is consistent with Wong Kim Ark, as well as with the slaughterhouse cases in Elk against Wilkins.
So he's saying that there's precedent, there's cases that are out there that equate to his side of the argument, and it's pretty simple. The original meaning of the Citizenship Clause extended citizenship to the children of former slaves, not to people who are unlawfully or temporarily present in the United States. Now, there are going to be some who don't get that. And just I'm going to play this and then we'll move on, because it's better when Zach comes on and he describes all of this. And in the 5 o'clock hour, if you want to get more details, we're going to really dig in so you'll hear it. But just so if you're saying, well, do we get an idea of where the judges are going to go, where they stand? I think so. If you listen to Judge Sotomayor, the left-leaning side of the court, I think you get a good idea of where she stands on this. And also how you had the Solicitor General who was like, I don't want to say I have to kind of correct you, Justice Sotomayor, but I might have to correct you in the moment. This should be fun.
Right now, we have multiple courts. We have novel courts who've percolated this issue and said, you're violating precedent. Not only precedent, but the plain meaning of the 14th of the Constitution.
Respectfully, I think what we have are lower courts making snap judgments on the merits that ignore the fundamental principle of the 14th Amendment, that it was about giving citizenship to the children of slaves, not to the children of illegal immigrants who really were not even a very discreet class at that time. And that's the sort of argument that deserves percolation.
And just like a good lefty, just like a good Democrat, and just like that, there's Justice Sotomayor who, when the Solicitor General, D. John Sauer, is making a very important point, she says, like, I'm claiming back my time. No, this isn't Congress. You're a justice. What are you doing? No, I'm going to interrupt you because I don't like the fact that you seem to be making sense. That kind of felt like what was going on there. And again, smarter people than me, and there's a lot of them, have pointed this out. The language in the 14th Amendment was derived from the 1866 Civil Rights Act, which provided that, quote, all persons born in the U.S. and not subject to any foreign power would be considered citizens. Two Supreme Court cases upheld that. 14th Amendment did not originally grant citizenship to American Indians. Why not? Because they were considered to hold allegiances to tribal nations and were only, quote, partially subject to the jurisdiction of the government. That happened. So it was clearly written to grant citizenship to freed slaves born in America, not to illegals who own allegiance, are citizens of a foreign country, and are subject to the jurisdiction thereof. That makes total sense. Their allegiance is not to us. They're from another country. They owe allegiance, and they're citizens of a foreign country. Full stop. There it is. Dun, dun. You like the way I did that, D? I went, dun, dun. I did that whole, clean my hands of this. That's intense. It is intense, and it's something that I like to do every once in a while, especially when I'm camping. Oh, come on, who's with me? Come on, it's only Thursday, and I got this kind of vibe going on. I got a Friday-lujah vibe going on Thursday. You like that one, didn't you? His silence is golden. So, Zach Smith, Heritage Foundation, 5 o'clock hour. We'll get into this a little bit more and to figure it out. Oh, I might give... All right, D, I have something special for you. And it is a visual. It's very quick, and I will explain it to the radio audience. It's not hard to know or hear or understand. D, do you like Rubik's Cubes? Big on...
I messed around with them when I was younger, sure.
Okay. Pretty easy, right? I mean, a Rubik's Cube is it's so simple to get all the colors to match on one side, right?
Apparently there's a formula in how to solve a Rubik's Cube, but I think it's tough.
Well, guess what? This is going to rock your cube. I don't know if that's a thing, but...
Sorry?
All right, so Purdue, the University of Purdue, the Boilermakers, as they're known, the students were going for the Guinness World Record for the fastest Rubik's Cube solving robot. D, would you like to guess? I'm going to give you the guess here. How long did it take for the robot to solve the Rubik's Cube?
1.92 seconds.
1.92 seconds. All right. Well, let's do this together. D, pull up the video. And everybody is going to be listening on radio. You don't have to worry about this. You'll know as soon as I click the button. All right, D, you ready? You said 1.something seconds?
Yep.
Here we go.
1.9 something.
All right, I'm getting ready to push it in 3, 2, 1. Wait. Ready? That's it. Wait, done. Did you see it? Watch it. It's going to go now. Done.
Did the machine move, or did I just witness a magic trick?
Dude, that's the machine moving.
What was the lightning strike?
I don't know. All right, let me just go in slow motion.
There was a big flash in
All
the
right,
middle
let me
of
go
the
in
screen.
slow motion. Here it goes. There it goes. And it goes right there, and it moves, and it's done. It must have some kind of thing in it where it's looking like it's it flashes the light so that the robot can see.
Oh, maybe it took a picture as the robot moved or something like that?
D.
I don't know. That looks fishy to me.
You ready for this? It solved the puzzle in 0.103 seconds. Faster than the blink of an eye. Faster than the blink of an eye, it solved the Rubik's Cube.
That's it.
Yeah.
Robots start taking over.
Yeah. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think we have the person from Purdue here's the person from Purdue who was speaking about how they were able to get this done. D, go ahead and hit the video.
And
I'm sorry. I hit the wrong button. That's not them. That's AOC. I'm sorry. That was a mistake. I didn't mean to hit that, but I hit the wrong button, D. That's all it was. I didn't mean that. It was the wrong button. I probably have the other one if you care about what the there they are. All right, there it is. D, that's them. That's the crew, right there. Go ahead. There you go. That's the crew of 4 and their crazy computer. Actually, that room, if you can't see, obviously, if you're on radio, you can't see what I'm looking at. It's just a bunch of wires and it looks like a bunch of computer boxes and frames and like a monitor from like 1997 or something like that. It looks a lot like your studio room there, D. That's what that looks like. That could be.
Ouch.
I'm only saying that to D because he knows that's what my side of the studio looks like. My side of the studio looks like wires and computers from like 1996 and all kinds of weird. It's a hot mess. It's not you, D. It's me. That was the joke. See, I thought you would get that, but you didn't. You were insulted. So that's 2. So I hurt Nina's feelings earlier in the program, and now I hurt your feelings later in the program. Who else from the newsroom can I affect today? Oh boy, I'm sorry, guys. All right, well let's move on, shall we? Whew, let's get out of it. All right. Let's see some of the other stories that are going on right now. Oh, can I play some of the Politico stuff? Because we're going to get to this huge story, which is, did Tom Homan and the assistant DHS secretary say that they are willing to, if they have to, arrest AOC? Because AOC got a little bit of, I just played a little bit of AOC's voice there. She got a little bit of a, as the kids call it, a tood the other day. And I think I have the let me see if I can find the video of AOC where she got, I don't know, she was very upset. And I guess she was talking about, don't you lay a finger on anybody, any congressperson, you better not. And if you do, there's going to be consequences and, you're not going to like what's going to happen. And all of these different things that she mentioned. So Tom Homan heard about this. Let's see. Is this the video of her? Yeah, here you go, D. Let's play this video. This is AOC, who is...
If anyone's breaking the law in this situation, it's not members of Congress. It's the Department of Homeland Security. It's people like Tom Homan and Secretary Kristi Noem. You lay a finger on someone, on Representative Bonnie Watson-Coleman, on Representative... or any of the representatives that were there, you lay a finger on them, we are going to have a problem.
Hey, D, if you lay a finger on them, AOC is going to have a problem. So...
Oh, no.
Yes, she did. Did you really want to do that and say that to Tom Homan? Are you sure you wanted? Yes, she did. And yes, she went there. All right, D, we got the video. So here's the response from Tom Homan in case you missed it. Because he went on to CNN and was like, you didn't really go there, did you?
First of all, you can't intimidate me. Come on, give me a break. I was enforcing it. I was wearing a green uniform, Border Patrol agent, for 5 years before she was even born. I had more than 3 decades enforcing immigration law before she became a member of Congress. I worked for 6 presidents. I've seen policies. I've seen hundreds of policies. Some worked, some didn't. But you can't deny the success of the Trump administration when it comes to border security. Again, the most secure border in the history of this nation. And I said from day one, and she knows this, you can not support ICE. Shame on you. You can support sanctuary cities. Shame on you. But you can't cross the line. You can't knowingly impede ICE law enforcement officers. That is a felony. You can't harbor and conceal, knowingly harbor and conceal an illegal alien from ICE. That is a felony.
Yeah, but the whole thing about that is if you're a Democrat and you're in Congress, you don't have to worry about felonies. Probably a lot of them can't even spell felony. So it doesn't really matter. It's not that big a deal. I mean, it's just like, no, we get to do those things. And you're not going to come after us anyway. Because if you do, we got a whole lot of people that are just looking or itching to break some glass or torch a building or do something. Wait, are you suggesting? No, I'm not. Allegedly. I'm just saying, allegedly, there are people. Because that wouldn't happen, right? Nothing like that. And like, nobody would let a crisis go to waste. I mean, who would talk like that? That's crazy talk. So, anyway, let's move on. Top of the news coming up.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA, is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families, and one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and I have to tell you, when my wife and I talked about getting new kitchen countertops for our house, we know who to call. Rock Solid Countertops and More, 2240 JNC Boulevard in Naples. And they have been absolutely amazing. Hugo and the team are the best. The workmanship has been absolutely incredible. The install was so easy. The process was perfect. Taking everything out, bringing the new stuff in. The quartz countertop is unbelievably beautiful, and my wife is super happy, I'll tell you. You know they have the best quality and selection of marble, quartz, granite, and a one-stop shop for all of your kitchen, outdoor, and bathroom needs. I've known it for years. I've lived in Southwest Florida 40 years. There was really only one place I was going to go. It's Rock Solid Countertops and More. I would suggest you give them a call, 596-7676. They're at 2240 JNC Boulevard in Naples. Find out what they can do for you. Countertops, cabinets, plantation shutters, they do it all. Rock Solid Countertops and More.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
Hey, you got this. Just breathe. Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Since the dawn of time, man and wildlife have shared a connection, and hunting traditions passed down from generation to generation have connected man to the natural world, from bow and arrow to hook and bullet. As man evolved, our link to those traditions remain with them forever. Yet today, our basic instinct to provide and as part of the hunt to conserve and appreciate the natural world has fallen under attack for the first time in human history. The misguided politicians and radical activists pushing an agenda to end hunting as we know it, or leading a war against our heritage and their misguided policies and protests. They demonize hunters and belittle our way of life, the results of hunters leaving the sport in droves, while our wildlife and ecosystems suffer the consequences as conservation funding dries up. Named after the father of the North American model for wildlife conservation, the International Order of T. Roosevelt is fighting in the arena to protect and expand the rights of hunters everywhere. We will fight back against these forces to make sure that every American has a right to hunt, enshrined in their state constitutions. We will educate the next generation in our traditions and seek to expand accessibility so that everyone can enjoy our pastimes. And we will continue to hold true to our namesake's efforts to protect, preserve, and ensure open access to our nation's wild lands. Teddy Roosevelt's vision for American conservation defines our modern hunting and conservation system, a system upheld by the idea that conservation efforts are crucial to our hunting way of life, and that hunters are crucial to successful conservation.
To some, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much, but that's not true. They're testing out vowels and consonants and trying different sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on meaning, especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, are you still playing defense with your money? It's time to shift gears and seize the fresh opportunities this new pro-business environment has to offer. That's exactly what certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and the team at Advantage Retirement Group do for high net worth investors like you, helping you go on the offense with advanced tax strategies, thoughtful risk management, and forward-thinking financial planning. Imagine enjoying the retirement lifestyle you've worked so hard to achieve, all while staying one step ahead, and in a changing world, you've got to do it. Alfie and his team design personalized strategies to strengthen your financial foundation so you can focus on living life on your terms. Ready to find out more? Text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Again, you can call or text 239-747-7470. Schedule your one-on-one consultation today and see how a proactive approach can help you thrive no matter what the market does next. Don't wait. Call or text VISIT to 239-747-7470 right now.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
All right, anytime you want to watch it, FL Voice News, YouTube, Rumble X, and Facebook. And anytime you would like to listen, maybe for some reason you missed the program, you can listen at your convenience at my personal website, drewsteele.com. Steele has 3 E's. You can go there and check it all out at your convenience. All right, let's find out what's going on in the Florida's Voice newsroom. We call this Top of the News.
Top of the News, Florida's headlines. Now.
And it's Anita Padilla in the Florida's Voice newsroom. She's got the latest for us right now. What's up?
Hey, Drew. The Florida Court of Appeals in the 5th District makes a ruling, and this one impacts minors who are seeking abortions. Well, now they're going to need their parents' permission. That story in a moment, but first, the Farm Bill is now law. Governor Ron DeSantis signing a sweeping new Farm Bill into law, and this one brings protections, strong ones, too, for Florida farmers and ranchers and even people who rely on municipal water systems. Senate Bill 700 includes new requirements for honest food labeling, and it blocks discrimination against farmers based on those controversial ESG scores, which can impact their access to get loans. Now, the bill was sponsored by Senator Keith Truenow, but Reps Kaylee Tuck and Danny Alvarez were also on board, and it was really spearheaded by Agriculture Commissioner Wilton Simpson. Simpson called the measure a big win for Florida agriculture, and the numbers back him up. Did you know that Florida is home to 45,000 farms and that there are more than 10 million acres of farmland here in Florida? And this state produces over half of America's fresh tomatoes, 40% of all the bell peppers, 42% of the nation's grapefruits, and a third of all of the oranges. Well, a Florida court has struck down a law that allowed some minors to get an abortion without their parents' consent. The 5th District Court of Appeals ruled that the law violates the 14th Amendment, saying that it denies parents the right to be heard in court before losing medical decision-making authority over their child. Now, the law had let minors seek a judge's approval to bypass the consent if it was deemed that they were mature enough based on factors like age, emotional stability, and understanding of risks. Attorney General James Uthmeyer praising this ruling, calling it a big win for parental rights, and saying Florida will continue to protect children and families. Well, when it comes to summer travel that doesn't break the bank, Orlando just tops the list. Wallet Hub has named Orlando the most affordable U.S. city for summer vacations this year, thanks to its low costs, easy access, and endless attractions for children of all ages. And really, adults of all ages, too. Non-stop flights start around $322, according to the publication. Hotel rates, they say, can be found as low as $42 a night. And a Wallet Hub analyst, Chip Lupo, says Americans want fun without the financial stress, and it appears Orlando hits that sweet spot. Other Florida cities that made the top 100 include Miami, Tampa, Jacksonville, Pensacola, Sarasota, and Daytona Beach. All right, that's it for now. Be sure to check out our webpage for more stories like this. I'm Anita Padilla, the news director here at Florida's Voice. Drew, back over to you.
All right, Anita Padilla in the Florida's Voice newsroom. We appreciate you. And, of course, anytime you want to check out what's going on in the newsroom, you can easily find out what they're working on by simply going to flvoicenews.com. That's the website, Florida's Voice. And you can see for yourself what's going on and what they are working on. Coming up in a couple of minutes, Dominic Calabro is going to be joining us, I believe, President and CEO of Florida Tax Watch, because we had a story recently that was discussing the EASE grants that the House was talking about possibly cutting, and these effective access to student education grants. We had some people who were pretty upset upon hearing about this, and the budget that would restrict the state's award, known as EASE, and about $3,500 to Florida students attending private institutions. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that and see where we are and why it's important to keep that or to keep moving forward with the cuts. We'll have that discussion in just a bit. And speaking of that, when it comes to cuts and things that we should be doing, I was looking at some of what the Speaker of the House was saying yesterday, Mike Johnson. A couple of things that were going on, interesting comments that he was making. One had to do with what's going on with specifically the trading of stocks in the House of Representatives. Yep, that issue came up yesterday, and I wanted to check out what he thought about that. Let's listen to this.
So a group of your colleagues are having bipartisan talks about a potential congressional stock ban. I wanted to see where you are on that. If that's going to move ahead. I know that they're working to get something that's going to have broad consensus.
Yeah, you want me to tell you my honest opinion on it? I mean, I'm in favor of that because I don't think we should have any appearance of impropriety here, okay? But the other side of it, some people say, well, look, the salary of Congress has been frozen since 2009. When you adjust for inflation, a member of Congress today is making 31% less than they made in that year. It goes down every year. And over time, if you stay on this trajectory, you're going to have less qualified people who are willing to make the extreme sacrifice to run for Congress. I mean,
that's an interesting proposition. So you're going to have a problem finding qualified people who want to run because, well, I know some people get upset when they hear that, and I know that tweaked my interest there because people will say, well, that's the problem. Are you doing it for the money or are you doing it to serve? And then when you serve, shouldn't you keep that time that you're serving to a small amount of time as opposed to I've been serving this country for 50 years. Serving in what way? Like serving at the soup kitchen or serving in your community or serving in Congress? Because there's a couple of different serves that people look at and say, that's not, okay.
It's just people just make a reasonable decision as a family on whether or not they can come and move to Washington, have a residence here, residence at home, and do all the things that are required. So the counter argument is, and I have some sympathy, look, at least let them engage in some stock trading so that they can continue to take care of their family. But on balance, my view is we probably should do that. But
yeah. And I guess the on balance view that many people have, it is interesting to talk about and debate, but the problem becomes, well, the obvious. You trading stocks, but then you're in Congress and the obvious, which is, well, I mean, what the obvious would sound like.
Bowl of doggy do.
Yeah, like Nancy Pelosi. Like she's got this beautiful house and she's got tens of millions of dollars and she's got a freezer full of ice cream and all of this kind of stuff. That I wish I had a freezer full of ice cream. I wish I had some ice cream right now. And you go through all of that and you're like, well, how did she get so rich? It's almost as if whatever policies she's allowing to take place, she gets a heads up on and knows who's going to get contracts and knows who's going to. I don't have to tell you this. Do you know the thing?
Not a joke.
I know, I sound like Joe Biden. You know the thing. I did that purposely. I mean, I do know the thing, and I know the Joe Biden thing. So, yeah, come on now. We got to figure this out. So I just thought it was interesting that it got brought up. And then there was one other thing, and then we can move on. And it had to do with this. When it comes to breaking the law, you would assume that if you break the law, there are consequences. Doesn't matter if you're a Democrat, doesn't matter if you're a Republican, doesn't matter if you're a Republican House or Senate member, doesn't matter if you're a Democrat House or Senate. Who am I kidding? Of course it's different for you. But that has to stop. Everything that is ugly and bad continues without consequences. Isn't that like a mantra in life? Bad things continue when there are no consequences, whether it's politics, whether it's kids, whether it's I don't know, burgers. Like if you put the cheese on before you cook the burger, like that's a bad thing. Well, that's a Democrat thing. That's a Chuck Schumer thing. I don't know what...
You won't know what hit you.
I get it. So here's the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, when he was being asked about, well, what about those individuals there in New Jersey, the House members, and breaking the law and trespassing and the pushing and shoving and the disruption of the everyday business of ICE, which, by the way, are felonies and disrupting of what they do. What are you going to do about it?
Well, look, there's three possible disciplinary actions that the House can take. Okay?
It seems like there's one disciplinary. Forgive me. I'm a simple guy. Ask my wife. And here's the thing. It's really simple. You broke the law, you get arrested. And then we move on from there. So what is he? That seems like one. Maybe there's three. Let's see.
You can censure a member, and that probably does seem appropriate here. You can kick them off committees. That's a new tradition begun by the Democrats.
And then we should do that one, too.
In recent years. And you can expel someone from Congress.
Yeah, maybe we should do that one, too. Or three. Or four.
Now, expulsion requires a 2/3 vote. That's not likely.
Okay, well, let's try it. Let's at least have people on record who will say, yeah, we don't have problems with anyone on the Democrat side breaking the law, and we're not going to vote for it. Well, let's get them on record.
Because the margins are small on both sides. But we're looking at what is appropriate. Look, I think it's pretty clear that the law was violated. You might have noticed the Wisconsin judge that was trying to conceal the illegal alien that was going to be apprehended by ICE.
Yeah, what happened to her?
A federal grand jury indicted the judge. I think that was late yesterday. And I'm told that she'll be brought up on charge, maybe facing potentially 6 years in jail and $350,000 in fines.
Huh. Well, would you look at that? So what about that?
Because she obstructed the proceedings, obstructed justice, and was engaged in other activities. So look, what these House Democrats did is in that same lane, the same vein of what the judge is being indicted for. So
okay, so same lane, same vein. What's the game, Zane?
I think there's some legal ramifications to play out here, and we'll see how it works.
Does that mean expulsion on the table?
We're talking through all the possibilities.
We're talking through all the possibilities. You know, and forgive me on this very issue, when I think about leadership on certain issues, that ain't it. I know I used ain't twice today. That's not it. Sorry. Again, what do you need to do? Why don't you ask Bernie what he would do?
This is what you do.
Yeah, what would you do, Bernie? Or Pelosi? Who are you going to ask permission of? Because you know what would happen if it were Republicans. It would be... And in this case, they might have a case. Yeah, so that bothers me just a little bit. All right, what else do we have going on here at Florida's Voice? All right, looking at the time, a couple more minutes. We're going to be heading to break. Anytime you want to watch it, FL Voice News, YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook. Anytime you want to comment on any of the things that I am saying, you most certainly can do that. At 866-588-8303 is the phone number. 866-588-8303. Let me see what's going on here. Well, this was interesting. Rolling Stone. Walmart says it's raising prices because of Trump's tariffs. Give it to me. I know. Well, the retail giant didn't mince words in explaining why it's going to make Americans pay more for everyday goods. Now, it's from Rolling Stone, so it's a big lefty publication, and they want to make everything with Trump sound bad. The tariffs will result in higher prices, said the CEO bluntly. We'll do our best. Can I speak? We will do our best to keep our prices as low as possible, but given the magnitude of the tariffs, even at the reduced levels announced this week, we aren't able to absorb all the pressure given the reality of narrow retail margins. And they go through the story and they talk about what the tariffs were and what they are now. But the interesting part of all of this is, you know what they don't say? How much? Like the prices have to go up. How much? Like, is the $6.99 thing on the cool Walmart shelf or the $6.87 where it's like, how did you come up with $6.87? Like, Like that thing. Like when you come up with the 687, is it 690 now? Or is it 1690 now? Like, how much? It's interesting that the lefty publication, Rolling Stone, puts out this article about Walmart and how they got to raise the prices. There's nothing we can do. We try to absorb as much as we can, but with these Trump tariffs, yeah, it's really bad. Okay, how bad? Give us a number. And I've said it a million times, and I've heard other people talk about it as well. And I'll keep repeating it over and over again. Is it a penny? Is it a half cent? Is it 687 now, 688? Like, what is it, Walmart? What's the number? Oh, we can't tell you that. No, really, you can, and you should. You should tell us how much more it's going to be. I think that's important.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow, you sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I like a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council. Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
when the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, if you're looking to take advantage of today's pro-business environment and strengthen your financial future, certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and his team at Advantage Retirement Group have got you covered. They specialize in advanced tax strategies, risk management, and retirement planning, all aimed at helping high net worth investors like you thrive. Now, Alfie wants to share those insights with you with his book, Keeping You on the Retirement Fairway. It's packed with practical tips and forward-thinking strategies to help you make the most out of your hard-earned wealth. Ready to get your free copy? Text BOOK to 239-747-7470. That's 239-747-7470. Don't wait. Learn how to capitalize on that pro-business opportunities that are out there right now and secure the confident retirement you deserve. Once again, text BOOK to 239-747-7470 right now, and let Alfie Townsend and Advantage Retirement Group help guide you toward a stronger, more confident financial future.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at USO.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move, when being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays, when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at USO.org today.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Producers have announced that the Canadian series Law & Order Toronto: Criminal Intent has been picked up for a second season. Of course, the episodes are only 10 minutes long because the criminals always turn themselves in. Yeah, I know. I shouldn't have littered, eh? I shouldn't have littered.
Oh, that's not very kind. Let's not do that, all right? They're a little sensitive right now. Let's not make fun of Canadians or people from Canada or people from the 51st state. See, I did it again. Don't do that. Stop it. It's not... Nope. No. That did not deserve that. We're not doing that. No. All right. Sorry about that. All right. Some other things that are coming up. Zach Smith's going to join us from the Heritage Foundation, heritage.org, in just a couple of more minutes. And we are going to talk about the birthright citizenship issue in front of the Supreme Court today and some of what was discussed. We're going to get to that and maybe even some audio clips along the way. You know, I didn't have an opportunity to play that, but I was wondering, no, I'm going to do this right now. So just so you understand, in a little while, we're going to play some audio from this event with Politico. The managing editor and author of Playbook, Politico, was speaking with someone that many people know very well, Jake Sullivan, the former national security advisor with the Biden administration, somebody who was knee-deep, waist-deep, chest-deep in the Trump-Russia collusion hoax, among other things that were going on with the president of the United States. And so, obviously, with the left-leaning media, he's a respected member of the club, if you will. And so, here he is, sitting down with the editor there of Playbook, Politico, and I love this. Hey, did you have any idea Joe Biden was having some mental acuity issues? Or
what happened in that debate was a shock to me. I think it was a shock to everybody, and I've made that point before.
Just finally, do you think, in retrospect, given everything that's happened and everything we've talked about today, it was a mistake for President Biden to try to run again?
One of the things about being national security advisor...
Okay. You know, that could be a simple yes or no, but let him go on. Being a national security advisor, yeah.
...is that you're mercifully insulated from politics and political decision-making.
Yeah, but you're not insulated from the one-on-one contact with the leader of the free world and somebody who is this close, my fingers are thinly spread apart, to possibly being near a button that he might mistake for something else. If there's a button, maybe they didn't have the button on. Maybe they replaced the button that was on the desk with like one of those, the easy button from whatever that place, Staples or whatever that store is. But anyway, keep going. I want to hear this.
I was insulated from it to the point where, while I was national security advisor, my spouse was running for Congress, and I had strict rules about what I could even do to support my spouse, let alone be involved in political decision making.
No. It wasn't about political decision-making. It was about whether or not you knew the truth behind, and you did, about the cognitive issues of one Joe Biden. Insulated. You're the national security advisor of the United States. Well, you were. Insulated is not the word you should be. You shouldn't be insulated from anything that has to do with the connection between you and the president when it comes to the thing that's in your title. Like it's on your business card. It says, "Hi, I'm Jake Sullivan, the former national security advisor. At the time, the national security advisor of these United States." Insulate you. It's incredible how, and you wonder why the Florida Democrat Party has complete. Why have they imploded? Because these are them? I don't know if that's the right way to put it. Because Jake Sullivan is the Democrat Party. Because Nancy Pelosi is the Democrat Party. Because Joe Biden is the Democrat Party. I can go on and on all day long. And people are like, yeah, no, we're not doing this. We're not doing this anymore. No thanks.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
It's 4 a.m., Monday, and you're literally sucking baby snot through a tube because she's congested. Man, that's love. And if you love her that much, love her enough to make sure she's buckled in the right car seat. To make sure your child's in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
No way.
No way. No way. No way. My kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele. Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Congratulations on your show. Congratulations on your new show. Big deal, huh?
That's why shows like yours are so important. We have an independent county elected sheriff that's the head of law enforcement in Jacksonville/Duval County. And I know how to work toward making this city safe.
We can't be shy about speaking on things such as faith and politics. We have to remember, in a free society, the public square belongs to all of us.
I'm not interested in North Florida looking like Orlando or Miami. I love where we live, but I think that good jobs means that people that live in this district can stay in this district.
Fishing and hunting is funding a large part of your conservation projects in Florida, and we want to make sure that those are forever preserved.
And the problem with this industry at this point is that they actually target our youth. You can see it in their marketing strategies, where it's bright colors, fun names.
And that's going to be endlessly litigated.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, are you still playing defense with your money? Now might be the perfect time to go on offense and seize the opportunities presented by the new pro-business environment ushered in by President Trump and his administration. That's exactly what certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and his team at Advantage Retirement Group do for high net worth investors like you. They create strategies designed to help manage taxes, control risks, and boost your financial confidence. It's a forward-thinking approach that can strengthen your foundation so you can enjoy the lifestyle you've worked so hard to achieve. If you're ready to see how Alfie's team can help elevate your plan, call or text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Again, text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Schedule your one-on-one consultation today and discover proactive strategies to help you thrive in an ever-changing world. Again, text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Don't wait. Let Alfie Townsend and the Advantage Retirement Group team guide you toward a stronger, more confident financial future.
I've been dipping snuff for well over 30 years. You know, I could wake up in the morning and have a weird lump in my gums. Guess it's like playing Russian roulette, really. I would love grandchildren. And if by quitting it extends my life some, I would gladly lay it down.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
Today, push harder, push forward, push vigorously.
There are things that I am hiding from people that I'm trying to inspire.
You can do whatever you set your mind to.
I feel like a hypocrite a lot of the times.
Don't give up on yourself ever.
Smoking, I hide it because I'm ashamed of it. I want to get out of the shadow. I want to show people there is light away from the darkness. I am going to quit.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move, when being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays, when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and you know I love the Floor Meisters in Naples. Locally family-owned business, 3 generations of Meisters. Listen, what are you looking for? Carpet, tile, hardwood, Core-Tech? Maybe that's what you're looking for. And why don't we talk to TJ Meister right now of the Floor Meisters and find out what's going on with Core-Tech. What's up, TJ?
Well, we're just keeping up with the demand for Core-Tech. Just had to order a truck and bring it in from the west coast of the United States to keep up with all the needs and wants of the people of Southwest Florida. Somebody doesn't have it, give me a call. I probably do.
I tell you, I love my Core-Tech floor. People love it. What is it about it that makes it so awesome?
Well, it's waterproof, kid-proof, pet-proof. So if you got a pool, no problem. If you got a dog, no problem. If you got a husband that spills, no problem.
Floor Meisters, that's who I trust, and you should as well. 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples. 239-596-4964 for the Floor Meisters.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Thank you for waking us all up out here, for all you do. And
thank you for giving us a voice.
For being out there helping to keep the constitutional republic. I want to thank you for
your support for veterans in the military.
Educating us.
Standing up for conservatism.
Giving us the truth.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Well, hey, everybody. So glad you're joining us today on Florida's Voice. My name is Drew Steele, Big D right there. On the other side of the glass, news right there in the breaking newsroom. And you right there hanging out with us at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook. You like the way I did that thing? I did a little sound effect for everybody today. Every time I pointed, I made a little sound effect.
That almost sounded like you did it right off the board.
Well, okay. How do you like that? You're welcome. I'm gonna do that more often. No, I'm not gonna make sounds with my mouth like that more often. I don't need to do that. I have a whole soundboard. I've got you on the soundboard. What do I need? Ding. I got you in the ding. What else do I need? Anyway, coming up in just a little while, we're going to talk about, among other things, some of the politics that are taking place here in the state of Florida. I heard that John Morgan was at some kind of event, and everybody's like, "John, you gotta run, you gotta run." He's like, "Oh, shucks, me? I don't know. Might have to do it." Oh, no, he didn't. He actually said a couple of things, though, at an event. John Morgan running for... You think he would do that? All right. Anyway, I'll let you know what he said and some other things that are going on here in the state. But first, I kind of talked a little bit about it earlier and hinted to the fact that I'm very interested to find out how this case is going to go. The Supreme Court hearing oral arguments today relating to the birthright citizenship issue and the executive order, and Zach Smith is the man. He's the one we have to bring in to talk about this. Senior legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation, heritage.org. There he is. Look at you. Come on, buddy. It's so good to see you, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing well, Drew. Thanks for having me on the show this afternoon.
I always got to bring you in on this stuff because it's like Zach knows. I don't know. Zach knows. I think I said this before. We got to have some kind of theme song that comes when you come on. It's like Zach knows, and then just there he is. Oh my!
Don't give the folks in my office any ideas. It'll be used to taunt me, I'm sure.
I was gonna say, if anybody in the office just saw what happened right there with me singing, they're probably gonna be like, yeah, maybe we just we can ixnay on the song A or something like that. Anyway, let's talk about this. So what people need to know, what's at stake here, what do we have going on in this case?
Yeah, so today the Supreme Court heard oral arguments in a case involving birthright citizenship. But the actual issue in this case doesn't involve the underlying merits about whether or not birthright citizenship is a constitutional right. The issue that the court was taking up today was actually a very important procedural issue. Can a single federal district court judge sitting anywhere in the United States block the president from taking an action against anyone at any time, at any place, by issuing a so-called nationwide injunction. This is something that's been virtually unknown for most of our nation's history. We heard Justice Clarence Thomas mention that fact at today's oral argument. So we'll have to wait and see what the justices do. But this is a very important issue, particularly with the number of nationwide injunctions that have been issued against this administration.
Right. So now we know that this has been happening. And if we get back to birthright citizenship specifically, because the 14th Amendment was brought up a lot. And, you know, specifically, Zach, maybe explain, like, why was it brought up? What does it say? What doesn't it say? I mean, I think it seems clear, the intent, but let us know. What is this?
So the reason birthright citizenship was brought up is because the underlying claims in this case involve a challenge to President Donald Trump's executive order, essentially saying that those who are in our country illegally or other short-term people who are here on a short-term basis, that their children would not receive the benefit of birthright citizenship. And this is controversial because some argue that birthright citizenship is guaranteed by the 14th Amendment, but there are very good arguments that that is not the correct legal interpretation. And the reason those arguments are very good is based on the history of the 14th Amendment. It was designed to essentially remedy the issue of former slaves not being considered citizens, which of course was incorrect. And if you look at the language of the 14th Amendment, Drew, the language actually has an important phrase. It says, those subject to the jurisdiction thereof of the United States, those individuals will be considered to be citizens by birth. And yet, there's a very good argument that that is a term of art, that again, those who are here illegally, those who are here on a short-term basis, do not qualify as being subject to the jurisdiction of the United States in the sense that term is used. And so as a result, President Trump would be within his constitutional rights to issue this executive order.
So that's where the issue of owing allegiance to another country, a foreign country, where the subject to the jurisdiction thereof is. So that feels pretty cut and dry. So then the question becomes, for me, another thing that was brought up today when Justice Sotomayor was talking about precedent. And I wonder about the precedent issue, how that works. We have it or we don't.
Yeah, so again, there's some debate on this. There was a case in the late 1800s that many people cite to as saying that it settled this issue, saying that it says the 14th Amendment guarantees birthright citizenship. As several of my colleagues have written, that is not the best reading of that case. And I think the best reading of that case is very much in line with what President Donald Trump is arguing. That case says that if someone is a naturalized citizen, if that someone is a permanent resident of the United States, then in that case, yes, they would be subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. They have given political allegiance to the United States at the expense of their prior political allegiances. And so again, those short-term residents, those who are in our country illegally, would not receive the benefit of having their children be citizens by birth. So we'll have to wait and see what the justices do. Certainly, Justice Sotomayor, as you mentioned, Justice Kagan, Justice Jackson, all signaled that they likely disagreed with the administration's position. So we'll have to wait and see what the other six more conservative justices on the court end up deciding.
And it's crazy that in the past we had, in I think 2022 at an event, and I wish I had the audio to play. I actually have the audio, but Elena Kagan, she said you can't be right. It can't be right that one district judge can stop a nationwide policy in its tracks. Like, she literally, and I hate to use the word literally, Zach, but I'm using it in this case because she literally said that. So so she knows. So then it becomes, all right, we know if you're playing the political game at SCOTUS, then you kind of figure, all right, we know where these justices probably are leaning. We probably know where a few of them, I mean, Alito and certainly we can see where Justice Thomas is gonna be. But then it becomes, this doesn't become a John Roberts thing, does it? I mean, is that where we are? Or Amy Coney Barrett? I mean, even she gave indications that today. Did you? I mean, you listened, of course. She almost gave indications that like she's not exactly leaning to the right, quote unquote, if you will.
Right. Well, she certainly gave very vigorous pushback to John Sauer, who's the Solicitor General, who is arguing on behalf of President Trump and his administration. It'll also be interesting to see, as you mentioned, where Chief Justice John Roberts comes down on this issue. Justice Brett Kavanaugh, Neil Gorsuch as well, could also potentially be, as you said, I hate to use the term wild cards, but could be somewhat of wild cards in this, entire calculation. So we will have to wait and see. But look, Drew, I think it's important for your listeners to understand that these so-called nationwide injunctions, this is something that has been unknown for most of our nation's history. They really only came to prominence in the last 10 to 20 years, and the overwhelming majority of nationwide injunctions that have been issued in the entire history of our country have been issued against Donald Trump and his administration. So this is a very big issue and will certainly determine how efficiently and effectively the president will be able to implement his agenda.
Yeah, I think it was, I want to say it was the Solicitor General. I'm not sure, but somebody was mentioning, or maybe it was somebody else who was saying it really only came to fruition in like 2007. That's when we started to see all of these seeds start to germinate around the country as far as the judges coming into play like that. So, it's going to be interesting to see. So ultimately, does this mean that in this case, I'd give you last word on this, that is this going to be one of those, hey, we just decided on this specific case, on the merits of this case in this certain instance, but don't read anything else into it for anything like it's this broad 30,000-foot view? I don't know if that makes sense, but because the court's done that before, right?
Yeah, they have. So we certainly could see an effort to split the baby in this case. Because of the unique procedural posture that this case came to the court in, the justices have a little more leeway than they normally would about whether to reach the merits of the case, whether to just deal with this very important procedural issue of nationwide injunctions. So court watchers aren't sure exactly how the justices are going to resolve this. It remains somewhat of an open question. But if you listen to the oral argument today, the bulk of the questions did focus on this issue of nationwide injunctions. So I suspect that's where the majority of the analysis of any opinion that comes out will focus. But look, even if the administration wins on this very important issue of nationwide injunctions, they will still have to go back and litigate the underlying merits of this birthright citizenship claim as well.
Zach Smith, legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation, heritage.org. I like you, Ty.
Thanks so much. It's baseball season.
Yeah, I was going to say, I love it. It's very nice. By the way, Florida guy, everybody. Just so everybody knows, Zach's a Florida guy, so he gets it. Is that all it is? Just the baseballs? Is there any specific team on there? Nope.
No specific team. I've been wearing my Florida Gator basketball tie, Drew. I'm a Gator. Go Gators.
Yep.
But I guess we're getting a little far away from March Madness, so I decided to change it up.
Be a rebel. Sometimes you got to do it, Zach. Sometimes you got to be like, look, this is my sport. This is what I love. This is what I pay attention. So just and it makes it a good conversation at dinner parties.
Well, go Gators. I'll say that.
There you go. All right, my friend. Great to see you. We'll speak soon. Thanks so much.
Great to see you too. Take care.
All right, Zach's the best. We love having him on the program here on Florida's Voice, and it's gonna be interesting to see how it goes. And just in case you're like, the lefty Justice Kagan didn't say anything like that, like in the past, not too long ago, about making the case for Trump. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. Here she is making the case for Trump. Here you go.
It just can't be right that one district judge can stop a nationwide policy in its tracks and leave it stopped for the years that it takes to go through a normal process.
Huh? What happened? How's that? So how could you say that at Northwestern at that event? But now you're like, I don't know. It's almost like, well, that's what lefties do. It's an unfortunate thing. It's like it's really not a good thing. It's like, you know what it is like, D? It's like the person who puts ketchup on a hot dog exclusively and excludes mustard on a hot dog. I don't think.
I'm glad you said exclusively because I'm a both guy.
I am a both guy. That's it. There's some times when, you know what, D, sometimes you put them both on at the same time. You mustard and ketchup it together.
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying.
Right. It could be one. So I like to do, I'm a big believer in condiments, and I'm a big believer in on the plate, you got to have little dabs of everything. So I don't know. This bite, I think I might like the ketchup. This bite, I might like the mustard. I don't know. I
throw it all on the hot dog. I don't put it on the plate.
Yeah, well, I mean, and sometimes you're just like, I'll just mix it together. I'm not that interested. I just got to get get it done. Yeah, so that's okay, and it's fine to be that way. And to Zach's situation, sometimes you just gotta. I'm wearing the baseball tie, but listen, sometimes it's all about basketball season 2, and you stay. We're in basketball season technically. I mean, we're in the NBA playoffs, so we're still there. I know for a lot of people, teams are out, but listen, there's always YouTube or something to go back to see some of the older games. All right, let's get to some Florida news. Let's see, what do we have going on here? Hit me. All right, John Morgan, we brought him up earlier. John Morgan, he was at the Tiger Bay Club. The headline in the Orlando Sentinel says, that's a trumpet fanfare for John Morgan, if he's listening. Orlando attorney John Morgan, because I figure every time John Morgan is like entering a room or coming on the radio or something like that, I picture him really enjoying a trumpet fanfare. Like, I think he would like that. An actual physical people with the big long horns, they with the flag on the end of it. I figure he's maybe. Orlando attorney John Morgan won't say he's running for governor, but he's starting a new party. Party like what? Like that kind of party? Or what kind of party are we talking about? Orlando Sentinel, people have been asking John Morgan to run for governor and talking about his potential candidacy for so long. The Orlando celebrity lawyer. I think it's just funny that they call him a celebrity lawyer. Can you just call him a lawyer? Do you have to call him a celebrity lawyer? I think he probably already knows. The Orlando celebrity lawyer told a local political club that, quote, I became like a candidate, and that's where all this talk is coming from. You did? Why? Oh, because of all the things you've been doing, trying to get recreational marijuana passed here in the state over and over and over again. It feels like. It's like it's not the battles, it's the war. Yeah, we lose a few battles, but you don't go away. And other things. But he says he's not running. Not yet anyway, apparently, according to the article in the Orlando Sentinel, quote, if there are certain people running and have a chance of being governor, it may be too much for me to bear. Did he mention who? Like, who would run for governor? And it's like, I just can't do it. I can't. This is bad. Like, who is the I can't bear it? You probably should name names. It's better when you do. Maybe he did at the event, and the Sentinel didn't talk about that. So then he brought up a horse racing reference. Says he's into horse racing. And I'm just going to finish with this. He was born in Kentucky, spent most of his childhood there until his family moved to Winter Park when he was 14. This is almost like the Orlando Sentinel's doing a whole introduce you to who they hope to be the next person running for governor of the state with his own original party. I wonder what it's going to be called. Oh, is it like that's too obvious. Would it be the For the People Party? Is that? Oh, I see. See that date? It would be the For the People. I don't know, but you got to figure, right? I mean, could be.
Good luck with whatever he goes with.
I don't know. I'm into horse racing, he said. When you go to the horse races, the horses come out, they come down the back, and they come around. And when they start coming down the stretch, that's when you have a good idea how that race is going to finish. So I guess what he's saying is, I'll wait until the very, very, very end, and then maybe I'll jump in. I don't know. Is that what you get out of that? Like, maybe I'll keep an eye on this horse race, and then we'll see how it goes. And
it's definitely not a no.
Yeah, it's not a no. But it might very well be a no. It's just fun. Keeps it Orlando celebrity lawyer. I mean, that wouldn't happen if you weren't out there all the time doing all kinds of stuff and billboards and everything, right? That's the point. It's like, hey, I'm talking about it, so job done. I didn't say job well done, but it's done. There it is. We're talking about it. So mission accomplished. That's probably the better way of putting it. So who knows if he's going to run? I don't know. I didn't play this yesterday, and I probably should play it now because I teased it up enough. And then for some reason, it kind of slipped through the cracks. Do you remember yesterday we were talking about Matt Gaetz posting on his X account? If Casey DeSantis announced tomorrow she was running for governor, she would be an absolute force and probably the instant front runner. If you don't believe me, watch this performance. Remember that? We talked about it, but I didn't play the audio.
Yeah, we were discussing on whether it was a troll or 50% troll, 50% true. Go on.
Here you go. So this is what she was at an event yesterday with the governor to her right. And here is a little bit of what she said at the event. We'll play the video. And you can see and hear what Matt Gaetz is. So Matt Gaetz is saying this is like somebody unstoppable. Here, listen to what she says.
Sure, for sure. Well, I think first of all, the focus should be on actually passing a budget, right? I think that's really important. That's what I think a lot of people signed up to do by a certain time. I would say I understand why when I travel around the state, and I meet with a lot of people, why they're very concerned when this guy, the GOAT, is no longer in office.
She said this before, right? Didn't she talk about this before, about him being the GOAT and everything else? And I think she's brought I think we even played the clip.
She may have.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly when.
Yeah, let me play it more.
I get it. Yeah. I mean, I tell you what, he laid it out at the top. I mean, just going over our economic numbers, paying down 41% of our outstanding debt. We have the largest net in migration. We have more new business formation than any other state in the United States of America.
She's not wrong about any of this, but the question becomes, why would Matt Gaetz point to this as the reason why she would be a juggernaut if she were going to run? Because she hasn't said anything about herself. She's talking about the governor.
I mean, people are moving here because they love Florida. And they love this guy. They love what he's done for parents and standing up for parental rights in education, for making education #1 across the state, whether it's K through 12 or whether it's higher education.
It's true. She's not saying anything that's incorrect. She's right about all of this. But why would Matt Gaetz put that video out there as the reason why people would want to vote for her? Because I haven't heard her say anything about like herself and what she's done.
They appreciate what this guy has done when it comes to our environment.
Okay, it goes on, let's just put it this way. It goes on for another 2 minutes, and that's what it is. And there's nothing wrong with the is that it is. Talking up the governor, the great job that he has done. I'm just saying that there are people that look at what Matt Gaetz put out there and wait a second. Is that a troll, or is he being genuine? I guess maybe if you scroll through some of the comments, I think you get a pretty good idea of what it was. So again, she's not wrong about any of it. The gushing over her husband, okay, fantastic, yes. But ultimately, the thing that has to happen is if this is legit, then there's going to have to be moments where she is out without the governor and kind of teasing up a little bit of her side of the story with regard to, policy and then maybe even taking some questions from the press. Or maybe not taking some questions from the press. I don't know, but I'm just saying, interesting. So I didn't get a chance to play that yesterday. All right, so I played it today. What else do we have going on here? Let's finish up with this before we hit the bottom of the hour. I said this earlier, big Politico event going on. You got a lot of lefties talking to lefties, talking about lefty things. And then you have Sebastian Gorka. Sebastian Gorka, who showed up at the event, the deputy assistant to the president, senior director for counterterrorism at the National Security Council. So, and if you know anything about Seb Gorka, you know that Dr. Gorka doesn't mess around. But he was invited. And so, you sure you wanted to do this? I want you to hear this exchange with Sebastian Gorka. Dasha Burns, we got the video, D. Dasha Burns, White House bureau chief and Playbook chief correspondent. Let's see how this exchange went.
A member of Al-Qaeda. If you're a member of Al-Qaeda, you're a terrorist.
How do you know if they're members of these gangs?
Okay, so we're talking about saying that these criminal illegals that are here, the gangs that are here, we call them terrorists, and part of the reason why they've been classified as terrorists, and out you go. So he's like, listen, we know that they are.
Member of Al-Qaeda, you're a terrorist.
How do you know if they're members of these gangs? What I'm saying
is... You mean the tattoos, MS-13 on their knuckles doesn't help it?
those...
Do you have tattoos of Al-Qaeda
The text did not say MS-13. I don't want to get into that.
Oh, of course it does. It's just accidents that the four symbols represent the letters MS. See, this is why Politico is a joke. This is why you are gutter press and fake news. That those four symbols that just happen to comport with the letters MS and the numbers 13 don't, in this case, represent MS-13. You're sitting here live defending a member of MS-13. That's why I regret coming here.
Like I said, when they got together and said, hey, should we invite Dr. Gorka? Yes, please. Yes, you should. Yes.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA. Is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families. And one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and I have to tell you, when my wife and I talked about getting new kitchen countertops for our house, we know who to call. Rock Solid Countertops and More, 2240 J&C Boulevard in Naples. And they have been absolutely amazing. Hugo and the team are the best. The workmanship has been absolutely incredible. The install was so easy. The process was perfect. Taking everything out, bringing the new stuff in. The quartz countertop is unbelievably beautiful, and my wife is super happy, I'll tell you. You know they have the best quality and selection of marble, quartz, granite, and a one-stop shop for all of your kitchen, outdoor, and bathroom needs. I've known it for years. I've lived in Southwest Florida 40 years. There was really only one place I was going to go. It's Rock Solid Countertops and More. I would suggest you give them a call, 596-7676. They're at 2240 J&C Boulevard in Naples. Find out what they can do for you. Countertops, cabinets, plantation shutters, they do it all. Rock Solid Countertops and More.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
Hey, you got this. Just breathe. Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Since the dawn of time, man and wildlife have shared a connection, and hunting traditions passed down from generation to generation have connected man to the natural world, from bow and arrow to hook and bullet. As man evolved, our link to those traditions remain with them forever. Yet today, our basic instinct to provide and as part of the hunt to conserve and appreciate the natural world has fallen under attack for the first time in human history. The misguided politicians and radical activists pushing an agenda to end hunting as we know it, or leading a war against our heritage and their misguided policies and protests. They demonize hunters and belittle our way of life, the results of hunters leaving the sport in droves, while our wildlife and ecosystems suffer the consequences as conservation funding dries up. Named after the father of the North American model for wildlife conservation, the International Order of T. Roosevelt is fighting in the arena to protect and expand the rights of hunters everywhere. We will fight back against these forces to make sure that every American has a right to hunt, enshrined in their state constitutions. We will educate the next generation in our traditions and seek to expand accessibility so that everyone can enjoy our pastimes. And we will continue to hold true to our namesake's efforts to protect, preserve, and ensure open access to our nation's wildlands. Teddy Roosevelt's vision for American conservation defines our modern hunting and conservation system, a system upheld by the idea that conservation efforts are crucial to our hunting way of life, and that hunters are crucial to successful conservation.
To some, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much, but that's not true. They're testing out vowels and consonants and trying different sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on meaning, especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, are you still playing defense with your money? It's time to shift gears and seize the fresh opportunities this new pro-business environment has to offer. That's exactly what certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and the team at Advantage Retirement Group do for high net worth investors like you, helping you go on the offense with advanced tax strategies, thoughtful risk management, and forward-thinking financial planning. Imagine enjoying the retirement lifestyle you've worked so hard to achieve, all while staying one step ahead, and in a changing world, you've got to do it. Alfie and his team design personalized strategies to strengthen your financial foundation so you can focus on living life on your terms. Ready to find out more? Text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Again, you can call or text 239-747-7470. Schedule your one-on-one consultation today and see how a proactive approach can help you thrive no matter what the market does next. Don't wait. Call or text VISIT to 239-747-7470 right now.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
All right, anytime you want to check out the program, you want to watch at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook. Anytime you want to listen to the program, if you miss it, like you missed the show earlier and you want to check it out later, you can listen 24/7 at my website, drewsteele.com. Steele has 3 E's, and minus the frog in the throat. And also, anytime you want to find out more about the stories that we are following here at Florida's Voice, you can go to flvoicenews.com. That is the website. All right. There's a lot. Those are tough choices. But let's do this right now. All right, it's 5:35, and each and every day we do this, the top 5 audio clips of the day. It's my top 5.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is Drew's top 5. Number 5.
That won't bow down to their ideological demands. They're removing residents off American streets and without due process of law are deporting them to foreign detention centers and prisons. This is all happening now.
Wow, so I showed up at a Bruce Springsteen concert and a political rally broke out. That's right, that's the boss, as he was known or is known, or I think he's known, there at a political rally. No, he was actually at his own concert. And people were like, hey, does Bruce sing anymore? No. I guess if you come to his shows now, you get a little bit of that. You know, the lies about what was going on. He was probably thinking about the Maryland man.
The Maryland man thought to be wrongly deported.
Deported Maryland man, Kilmar Abrego Garcia.
Of a Maryland man.
Yeah, they're not letting that one go. And so there's Bruce talking about, yeah, America stinks. Everybody in this audience stink. You all stink, but thanks for showing up and spending the money to hear me talk about what I think is really bad about the country. Whatever.
Number 4.
It just can't be right that one district judge can stop a nationwide policy in its tracks and leave it stopped for the years that it takes to go through a normal process.
Wow. Well, there's a Fox News flashback that they did today from 2022 when Justice Kagan, the one of the lefties there on the Supreme Court, saying that, listen, it can't be right that one district judge can stop nationwide policy. We bring that up because that case is in front of the Supreme Court, and the Solicitor General was arguing the case when it comes to birthright citizenship, and that decision and the fact that the EO came out and then a judge says, no, we're not having this. And it's like, all right, we're going to the court because we're going to figure out birthright citizenship and we're going to figure out whether or not judges can just come along and say, yeah, no. We're the ones that are running this show, and we'll decide what we're keeping and what we're not keeping and what we're doing and what we're not doing. And there's Justice Kagan, who not too many years ago said, yeah, you can't do that. But apparently now it's okay because Trump. I'm just trying to figure that all out, you know.
Number 3.
I want to point something out to the people in this room. Yeah, that's true. I want to point something out to the people in this room and anybody that can see us out there through the cameras. The Great Seal of Florida has "In God We Trust." That's important, right? God is praiseworthy. I'm thankful to God for everybody in this room. When I look around here, I'm myself. I'm a fourth-generation citrus grower. And I look around this room, and what I see a lot of folks here that are multi-generation farmers. It is part of the DNA of Florida. The governor mentioned that earlier, but it is absolutely part of the DNA of Florida. It is, quite frankly, I think the best part of Florida.
That's some of what the Senate President Albritton today said. State Senator Ben Albritton talking about what was the signing of the Farm Bill. And that got signed today into law. The governor signing that along with the Agriculture Commissioner, Wilton Simpson, and Ben Albritton, and so many others that were crucial, important in the putting together of this Farm Bill. And that passed. And some of the words that he said, and I just thought it was very poignant.
Number 2.
I'm not in the habit of praising Donald Trump, but I got to tell you, the last week or so in the Middle East, Ukraine, Russia is a different story. Yeah. The last week in the Middle East, I go into the week fearing that the Prime Minister of Israel is hell-bent on going to war with Iran. I go into the week worried that we're going to miss the thread of an opportunity in Syria for the new leadership there. And I got to tell you, I think the president has, in this last week or so, played the Middle East pretty darn well. My guess is that the Prime Minister of Israel is cooling his heels a little bit on planning for Iran. My guess is that he's probably thinking through a better situation than he otherwise might want for Gaza.
Wow, would you look at that? That is the ranking member of the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. That is Representative Jim Himes, who's a Democrat, mind you, who was like, I'll tell you what, you know, when it comes to the President of the United States and what he's been able to do in the past week or so, and play what he's played out and what's played out in the Middle East, he's done pretty darn well. Yeah, I'd say he's done amazingly well. And best part of all, I think, is you didn't have any hand in this. And it's
Number 1.
Oop. Wow. If you're wondering what that is on radio, let me describe. That is the President of the United States being welcomed in the UAE by a whole lot of folks waving American flags, screaming, and it's a wow. That was... I'm just saying, if you're watching at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble X, and Facebook, what you're seeing right there is one of those things that has to be keeping Democrats up all night long. And I'll say this before we hit this. Good.
Drew's Top 5.
It should be keeping you up all night. It should be bothering you. The sight of the President of the United States with the American flags being waved around by the folks there at the UAE, where you have what has been just an amazing trip. As he put it, I want to see if I could find that video when he was talking about how many hands he was shaking, all the people, the excitement there. That was there. It is. Is this it? Let me get this video up for you here. The President of the United States on Air Force One and talking to the media. Here you go, D. Check this out.
Jennifer, I'm sure that you saw that last night. I shook more hands than any human being is capable of doing. That was a long deal, and they were big people, but they were starving for love. because our country didn't give him love. They gave him a fist bump. Remember the fist bump in Saudi Arabia? He travels all the way to Saudi Arabia in that case, and he gives them a fist bump. That's not what they want. They don't want a fist bump.
They don't want a fist bump. They want a president of the United States to show up and shake their hand and making deals. And again, you know, the key here is on this trip. Wow. Talk about how much got done, the trillions of dollars. Did I have that video up when he was discussing that today? The deals that were being made, the relationship, again, the trillions of dollars in deals and all of what has been happening. Who else was going to do it? Who else was going to do it? Now we got to get to the one big beautiful bill. You had the National Economic Council Director, Kevin Hassett, who was talking about this on Fox Business with Larry Kudlow just a little while ago.
It's going to pass the House, it's going to pass the Senate, and it's going to create an economic boom unlike anything that we've ever seen. You know, the budget hawks are a little bit antsy about, oh, this costs too much, but the CBO score that they're basing all of that on is only 2.1% near-term growth and 1.8% growth in the long term. I'm highly confident, as we were in 2017, that you're going to get at least 3% growth. If we get 3% growth out of this bill, Larry, we just did the numbers you asked us to, it increases revenues over the next 10 years by more than $4 trillion. Wow. That is by more than the cost of this bill.
Wow. Wow, wow. To Larry Kudlow's point. Wow, wow, wow. So it sounds like there's a lot of good coming out or could come out of this one big, beautiful bill, because there are a lot of people that are like, how much debt is this going to, well, if we grow the way we're talking about growing, I don't think you have to worry about that. Larry Kudlow seems convinced. A lot of people seem convinced. And, you know, the things that have to get done are getting done. You know, the deals, the fact that we're working on peace instead of war, you know, not everybody's on board, right? Putin didn't show up in Turkey. So everybody's like, oh, he's not serious about this. May not be. But you got to keep trying. Can't stop. I think somebody said famously, can't stop, won't stop, right, D? Didn't somebody famously say that? Can't stop, won't stop. Or is that just, did I just make that up off the top of my head? I don't know. Maybe I did. And for those of you who are, you know, reminiscing, you're thinking, man, I'll tell you, if it could only be as good as 2017 to 2019, I didn't say 2020 because COVID, and that's not Trump's fault, but if it could only be that good, right? Going back in time, back, you're reminiscing. Well, while you're sitting there reminiscing, how about this little nugget? D, we got a little bit of video here. How about this nugget from 1 year ago?
Donald Trump lost 2 debates to me in 2020. And since then, he hadn't shown up for debate. Now he's acting like he wants to debate me again. Well, make my day, pal. I'll even do it twice. So let's pick the dates, Donald. I hear you're free on Wednesdays.
Hey, D, that was that was a year ago today. Joe Biden bowing up to the camera and Donald Trump and challenging him to a second debate. Remember that?
That sounded so intimidating.
Not only does it sound intimidating, but after the fact, doesn't it sound even more creepy? After everything.
Why is he free on Wednesdays?
I think it was a dig at he plays golf on Wednesdays.
Oh, okay.
And so he doesn't have a lot going on. And some might say that for Joe Biden, felt like every day was a Wednesday. Not a lot going on.
Not a joke.
I mean, there was a lot going on, but maybe not with Joe himself. Unless it's something about Jell-O time or something like that. That's not nice. Don't do that. Be kind. It's not the person. It's the politics. I gotta get used to that. That is that's real. That's a thing. All right. Some of the other stories that we're checking out. Let's see. What else are we looking at? I just wanted to point one thing. Oh, do I want to play? Yeah, you know, I didn't play that as one of the top 5 audio clips was The View. But before I get to that, you know, there was a lot of talk today from those that were working on the Farm Bill and then ultimately getting it signed by the governor. And, you know, there's things that are happening in the state. There are things that are going on that we should realize why they are happening, why we're concerned about geoengineering and, you know, weather modification, and how, nope, we're not doing that here. When it comes to fluoridation of the water systems, we're not doing that here. When it comes to things that, like ESG, the environmental, social, and governance decision-making taking place by lenders and we thought we got rid of it here in the state, but it seems like farmers were having an issue. And I brought up the example of, you got too many tractors. I know you want another one, but we can't have you do that because it's just too much. There's too much going into the planet. I mean, we could have a climate catastrophe here in the state. A little back reminder of what a hoax the man-made climate change deal is. Here's a little Dan Rather from back in the day, 1982. Remember this?
Concern about rising temperatures on planet Earth heated up a hearing here in Washington today. For years, scientists have theorized about the dangers of the so-called greenhouse effect, the warming of the Earth's atmosphere due to the burning of coal and oil.
Yeah.
And in recent months, as David Culhane reports, research has uncovered facts to support that theory.
Wait till you hear when we come back what they pointed to that has to do with me and you specifically. I'll have that coming up. Stay there.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow, you sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I like a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council. Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
when the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, if you're looking to take advantage of today's pro-business environment and strengthen your financial future, certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and his team at Advantage Retirement Group have got you covered. They specialize in advanced tax strategies, risk management, and retirement planning, all aimed at helping high net worth investors like you thrive. Now, Alfie wants to share those insights with you with his book, Keeping You on the Retirement Fairway. It's packed with practical tips and forward-thinking strategies to help you make the most out of your hard-earned wealth. Ready to get your free copy? Text BOOK to 239-747-7470. That's 239-747-7470. Don't wait. Learn how to capitalize on that pro-business opportunities that are out there right now and secure the confident retirement you deserve. Once again, text BOOK to 239-747-7470 right now, and let Alfie Townsend and Advantage Retirement Group help guide you toward a stronger, more confident financial future.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day.
We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move, when being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays, when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Concern about rising temperatures on planet Earth heated up a hearing here in Washington today. For years, scientists have theorized about the dangers of the so-called greenhouse effect, the warming of the Earth's atmosphere due to the burning of coal and oil. And in recent months, as David Culhane reports, research has uncovered facts to support that theory.
Many scientists claim that the temperature of the Earth's atmosphere has been rising over the past 100 years, that the great sheets of pack ice in Antarctica are melting at a much more rapid rate than previously. And finally, that the sea level has been rising with increasing swiftness over the past 40 years. If these scientists are correct, about 25% of Florida would be flooded, along with low-lying areas all over the world.
There it is, D. There's the map. There it is. Oh, man. I'll tell you what. That was March 25th, 1982. Talking about how Florida's going to be under... Man, if you bought some beachfront in Miami or Jacksonville or the Panhandle, oh, boy, are you regretting it right now? Oh, no, you're not. No, you're fine. Everything's fine. No, that's not happening at all. See how long it's been like that, D? They've been talking... scared...
That's quite the inaccuracy.
Yeah, I think if you were looking for, hey, we might have messed this up a little bit, and you're wondering how bad could it possibly get, it could get that bad. There it is right there. But all the, everybody in the wildlife corridor is just fine. No, seriously. Like when we talk about the wildlife corridor, if you're watching at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble X, and Facebook right now, there it is. Boom. Right on, right above the lake. And this is what they're saying. Everything else is underwater except the middle of the state. And so when you were thinking, I don't know, Sebring sounds like a good place to be. You're right. It's a fantastic place to be all the time, even during times when everything is gone bad along the coasts because somehow the crazy leftists are trying to convince you that it's man-made climate change and the penguins can't swim and all this kind of stuff. I don't know. They had pictures of penguins, which that's what it is. It's so nice. You know, if you really want to tug at somebody's heart, D, you got to bring the penguin. That's when... Let me tell you, if just a little inside Drew Steele, well, it's not really inside Drew Steele baseball, but let me just put it this way, D, a little lesson for you, a little lesson of love for you, okay? Because I know, I'm not saying you're looking because you have, but I'm saying to accentuate what you already have. Are you ready? Are you ready for this? A little lesson. It's for everybody.
I'm a little nervous and excited at the same time.
All right, here we go. You ready? Things are not great. Sometimes, you maybe get a little baby argument. It's not the end of the world. It's just little fights. You're thinking, man, I don't know how are we going to patch this one up? But you will. I like to speed it up a little. I'm getting ready to walk in the door. I just want everything to be like, right? Bringing down the temperature. Penguin. Does it all. It works every time.
Where can I find a penguin?
Well, not a live penguin. I'm not saying like go to SeaWorld or something. I'm talking about just to get a plush penguin. I don't know. They got those plushy things now in the Happy Meals. McDonald's is like, hey, after you have
Squishmallow.
That's it. After you have a Happy Meal, go to sleep. Here's a pillow. Yeah. So they probably you can get one in there. But just a little love advice from Drew Steele. That's what it is. You having a fight with your significant other? I mean, it's actually more like. If you've got a wife, bring her a penguin. The other way around, like if my wife came home and it's like, hey, I don't want to fight with you, here's a penguin. I'd be like, what are you doing? It's a one-way kind of thing. But I just thought that was a good way to end the program, right, D? With a little...
It's a fun, kind, sweet way.
It's a
Which
terrible...
is very odd for us.
It's a terrible way to end the program, and I'm almost sorry, but there's nothing I can do to make up for it now. It's done. Speaking of Orlando, tomorrow we broadcast live from Orlando at the beautiful, incredible studios of WDBO Orlando. We are looking forward to that. A couple of announcements to make that you're going to like, too. Talk about it tomorrow. See you then.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
It's 4 a.m., Monday, and you're literally sucking baby snot through a tube because she's congested. Man, that's love. And if you love her that much, love her enough to make sure she's buckled in the right car seat. To make sure your child's in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way. My kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.